You make fun of.
Hello, friends. It's 9 to noon on this Masters is delayed because of rain Thursday. I'm Billy Schmid. Armin Sarian's here. John Kuhn, locked in, loaded, ready to go. Not sitting in one of these sponsored, soaking wet Masters chairs at Augusta National that the patrons are now descending upon. But still waiting for them to tee on off. This is a fun day. This is an exhilarating day. And gentlemen, John, I'm fired on up as one of the casuals in the golf world. This is when the golf season actually starts.
That's right.
For me. So I'm excited to talk to Chuck Garbedian in an hour about it.
Wow, you don't even watch the players?
No. Like there's that to me, it barely starts until this one really kicks on off. I'm a majors only guy.
Okay.
I'd be like
fair.
Easter and Christmas version of a churchgoer. That's for me for the golf season.
They called that a cafeteria Catholic.
Yeah.
So you're basically a cafeteria golf fan.
Mm-hmm.
You choose the big meals.
Yes.
The Masters, the US Open, the Open, and the Players Championship. I get it. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. They're great tournaments. They're great tournaments, and you never know what you're going to see. But this is the big one. This is the Super Bowl for the golf season. I love that it's especially now that Live and the player or the tour are separated. This is, the AFL NFL merger Super Bowl game, right, Armin? This is that first Super Bowl kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is exactly
It is
what the Super Bowl was like.
Super Bowl
you had an AFL, you had an NFL, and they came together and they played one big banger of a Super Bowl. That's what the Masters is now. It really is. That you got the Live guys on one side, and believe it or not, there are more Masters champions in the last 30 major champions in the last 30 majors on the Live side than what there are on the tour side. So you have this kind of, and they're not butting heads anymore, but it makes for great theater because you're going to have these guys coming in here and matching up against each other, and they don't get to see each other every week.
And it's good professional wrestling style because not only did your champion leave last year in John Rahm, right? The reigning defending Masters champion. That would be like after Lombardi's Packers won Super Bowl I, they just said, hey man, we're going to go play an AFL schedule quick.
Peace out. We're going
See
to
you guys.
NFL.
We're going to head on over here. We're going to go to the AFL real quick for a couple of years. I think that part of it's fascinating. I love that there's an actual conflict of somewhat interests in here. It was why I was fascinated by their potential merger because I thought we was going to lose a little bit of this. Now, there's a certain individual, Joaquin Niemann, I believe, was the cat that was potentially going to get left on out because of his world golf ranking and like the Live Tour. No one in the world golf ranking respects the Live Tour yet.
They don't recognize it.
Yeah.
Is what they, yeah.
So he needs a special exemption, correct, to be able to get on in here. And the Masters like, hey, come on over. You're good. Come play in our tournament. We'll figure it on out. We make the rules over here. We don't need anybody else telling us who we can invite to Augusta National. Am I getting the correct rub there by the folks at Augusta National just saying we're going to tell who we want to be playing in our tournament?
Yeah, I think Augusta has 5 exemptions, like 5 exemptions that they can hand out. 5 players that they deem worthy to play in this event. Like a lot of majors, the U.S. Open, you earn your way in. Right? You can find, but you can also, as an amateur, you can go out and play a U.S. Open circuit and work your way up. And we've seen Tony Romo do it, get to the final stage and not be able to quite qualify. You can qualify for that one. The British Open or the Open has similar parameters. And then the Masters has their set of parameters, but they have an exemption list of 5 guys that they can bring in and allow to play in this tournament. And Joaquin Niemann is one of them.
This opens up into a whole nother season of sports, right? Like we just closed the book with the NCAA tournament. Postseasons are going to start in the NBA, NHL. Baseball's wide on open now after a good 10, 12 game stretch. You start to see a little bit of your team. Golf gets into full swing after the Masters. I'm wondering where Nooner's attention is going to start spreading on out to because we're so hyper-focused on the Green Bay Packers here and you're home for Packers football. We will get a lot of NFL draft conversation. I don't know if people are diving in on their alone time for the next 2 weeks trying to get their big boards ready to go, but I'm interested as to where people's attention is directed now in the sports landscape.
Yeah, it's always local, right? Usually, but obviously the Masters is a big weekend because of the way opening day is a big day around here. Because I think it opens the season for a lot of people. It ushers in, like, it's symbolic. It ushers in the springtime and ushers in their own maybe personal golf adventure season. It means like, okay, we're going to start to see the lush green, the azaleas, all these things. But that's over in a weekend to me. I still think it is. It's still over in a weekend. Most people with golf look to the next major. I could be wrong, but I'm kind of a golf casual as well. So then I think it becomes, okay, Bucks playoffs, but more so the Brewers. I still think that's where all the attention is until the week of the draft. Once the week of the draft happens, every Joe Blow at George Webb's is going to tell you how they know their board, that they've been like the 10 guys, the 10 names they've heard of.
Tell you why Chop Robinson needs to be the pick at 25. Right. Sure.
Or Cooper DeJean. They're all going to bring up that name. Like, you know how this goes, right? Everyone wants to sound like an expert. Everyone wants to sound like they know what they're looking for.
I heard they're taking that kid from Iowa. That number 3.
That kid from Iowa.
That kid from Iowa.
That kid looks good.
They really like him.
He seems like a guy we could use, something like that. So that's kind of how I think this time of year after NCAA tournament attentions for our listeners are going to go. I mean, even less so. I mean, NBA playoffs, yes, but the fact that the Bucks are relevant is why we pay so much attention to the playoffs. I think it's fair to say if the Bucks weren't relevant the last 6-7 years, Billy, maybe except for a younger generation, guys, it's not as much NBA playoffs, but the younger generation does embrace it more.
Yeah, younger generation loves the NBA. That's a little bit different. John, what about you? Where's the sports attention for you? And our Nooners can answer at 414-799-1973 headed to.
It's been an awesome week of sports so far. You said it, Billy. We had the women's national champion. First, the way they space these games out for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with the men's and the women's Final Four and national championship game made for 4 pretty interesting days with some other sports sprinkled in throughout that. And then, Tuesday to have that glorious weather day down there in Milwaukee and to be walking around the Deer District in a t-shirt, just enjoying the weather, going into a Bucks Celtics game, followed by yesterday walking Green Bay Country Club. And then today, the kickoff of the Masters. I mean, I hate to say it. I feel like I've been saying it every week for the last 6 weeks, but we're out of winter, baby.
Finally.
It's time to enjoy spring and the beginning of summer sports season. But last night I sat down and I watched those Brewers and I thought to myself, goodness gracious, this young Brewers team, all those years with these aces, and we couldn't find a bat. And right now, the question mark on the team is pitching, especially with Freddie Peralta. And now all of a sudden, we have bats, guys. Our bats are alive. This team is hitting the snot out of the ball. And I was locked into the Brewers last night, even with the rain delay.
Yeah, and they're hard to turn away from when they perform offensively like this, right? And also, John, you mentioned it, like you're trying to find bats. They were also Brewers fans are trying to find the guys that they remember, right? Like, hold on here. What happened to that Rowdy guy?
Who's Jake Bowers? Who's Joey Ortiz?
I thought number 11 was big. I thought he was a big bald guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's a young 20-year-old kid that's playing right field, right? So like you got to reassess this number 12. I thought that was Renfroe. Now Hoskins, is that how you pronounce his name? So like you're going to start learning some more of your favorite players. But damn, it sure helps when the guy right there in the middle that everybody still remembers of the 22 jerseys, they can start digging out those Christian Yelich jerseys, because 5 bombs to start out the year. He is pulling the hell out of the baseball, something you have not seen over the last 3 years. And as much fun as those aces are, John, and pitching and defense is the way that they've won games, I think fans are going to enjoy watching them score 5, 6, 7, 8 runs a little bit more than 3-1 ball games in 2 hours and 7 minutes, potentially.
It's not your Craig Counsell's Brewers anymore. At least it doesn't feel like that whatsoever. This team is all about hitting and running the base path, which is really entertaining. You got Jackson Chourio out there. You got Jackson Chourio out there really looking like he belongs. I mean, learning from his mistakes a few nights ago, hitting the cutoff man last night. And now you're starting to think, holy cow, those first couple, that sweep of the Mets, that wasn't just us taking care of business with the putrid Mets. This is something for real now. And to go down to Cincinnati and, you got a series now, and now you look for a sweep. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, in Chourio, Vasallo put this out earlier, has hit safely in 9 of his first 10 games in the majors, the first player in franchise history to ever do so. 7 players had hit safely in 8 of their first 10 games. Most recently, Lorenzo Cain in 2010. Just to add some context to how impressive it is to start out a career for what Jackson Chourio has started.
I agree. I think the 3 most exciting things about this season so far is Yelich starting off on a tear, Jackson Chourio fulfilling that potential early on,
the prophecy
and prophecy, exactly,
the prophecy, the golden child,
and especially Bryce Terang's kind of early resurgence or offensive resurgence. But the thing is that it is still early, so I want to kind of caution myself. It's only been 11
here
games.
we go with Armin. We're riding high. He's got to have fear.
No,
he's got to have fear.
Just,
anytime we have good things, Armin has to fear it down.
That's not always true.
Every time we have good things, you got to fear us down to the Mendoza line.
No.
Anytime we have injuries or things to worry about, you say, "Oh,
what's the matter?
I got hope they'll turn it around."
Usually
they'll get healthy and turn it around.
First of all, usually I'm blowing the balloon up. All right, let's not talk about that. Usually I'm the one blowing the balloon up. Let's not talk about me being the one that's a wet blanket. I'm not like a Debbie Downer. All right,
you were the one that wanted Jackson
no,
Chourio to go 0 for 4 in his.
Just so,
Armin,
just so
you
the
down,
fans don't eat him alive. And John, here's the thing: we've started off great the last 2 years too. So I'm excited about it. Just like
last year was what, 18-9,
18-9, or 14-5, and a couple of years ago we had our best start through 50 games in franchise history. So I'm excited about this Brewers team. I'm excited for their hitting, just like I was excited about it last year. All right, just like all I'm saying is baseball is a long season. All right, so I know the first couple weeks are always exciting, opening days when people pay attention, and then the casuals drop off in May and June and July. Well, some of us still watch through the season. So we might have some ups and downs. I'm not saying not to be excited. I'm saying I hope we stay excited. I'm saying I hope Brewers fans aren't desensitized by the fact that we've had good starts and actually won a lot of games the last 4 or 5 years, because we have done that, right? But it just feels like, and it started 2 years ago.
Desensitized. Okay,
414-799-1973.
414-799-1973. Are you desensitized to these Brewers wins here early in the season? Does this feel like, oh, here we are again? This is just what we do. I don't think people are thinking like that.
I think
this is very I think this is very much like the Packers season from last year. This team is young. This team's going to have to learn. There's going to be some bumps in the road. We don't have gloriously high expectations with this team, but we have hope. And now with this hot start, but this is better than we expected. This is Armin, this is much better than we've expected.
Oh, I agree. And in that sense, you're right, because it is a new manager, a lot of new players, and it does feel like a fresher start. So the winning might feel a little different. Now they're 8-3. It's been 11 games. So we're talking about maybe like what, 4, 5, 6% of the season so far. It's great to start
only
this
150 games to go.
But don't forget,
I don't know what the problem is. Only 150 to go.
When the Brewers were like 14-5 through 3 weeks last year, all I heard about what was wrong with them. When the Brewers were 32-18 through 50 games 2 years ago, people were complaining every day about it. So I just feel like Now you might be right in the sense that it is a new team with a new manager and a new feeling, young stars. So
can't you have fun with all the newness and success? It's new and successful.
I can have fun with it.
It's new and it's working.
Well, and I hope people do, because I felt like people were taking winning for granted the last couple of years. I don't want people to do that. I think you get desensitized to a level of winning if you've done it for a while. And I'm like, what are we all so sour about? Why are we all in such a bad mood? The Brewers are 32-18. I'm saying in the past, I'm telling you, this was the feeling of Brewers fans. Yeah, they won, but they can't hit, or they won, but they might have a problem coming forward here, or the sky might fall here.
I think you're hanging out online too much.
I think you're absolutely right, Billy. I actually do.
I mean, this negativity is just outrageous. That only comes from being online.
But it's actually positivity in the sense of I don't want people to. I'm excited too. This is a brand new team, guys.
I didn't have any happy place time this morning. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't want any. Listen.
I'm trying to follow.
Bryce Terang last year was a great defender, but he couldn't hit the ball, and we were all getting frustrated about it. But if you remember, he had a home run opening day, so we need that to sustain. Now it was OPS is 907. That's fantastic. Okay. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but it's fantastic to start. Contreras is doing his thing. Willie was dropped off a bit, but Willie still has a couple of homers already this year. We know Yelich is done.
Okay.
I just want to make sure the excitement is sustained and people don't say, yeah, but we're winning. But
you're the only one bringing up negative thoughts, though.
Only one.
I'm looking on the talking text line. Thomas in Alaska goes, yep, don't trust the crew until after the All-Star break. Now, you could also say that.
There's a lot of that, Billy. I'm sorry.
There's one text. There's one text. Now, you could also say that about every other baseball team because you got to get to the final 60-game run, right? You're going to win 54 games. You're going to lose 54. It's what you do in your other 54 that's going to separate where you end up in the pantheon of the major leagues. But, like, I just struggle to, and I do, John, doing post games for the Brewers with Timmy Allen for a good 5 years. I've caught a lot of that negativity that Armin Sarian is hearing. I am throwing some shade. I do understand that there's some out there, but it just feels a little bit different than last year. Now, I do not want to be prisoner of the moment when Mike Heller absolutely slapped Zabin in the face last year after the 18-9 comment. He's like, did you not watch when they were 32-18 a year ago? The hot start, maybe you kind of forget about because it is a year ago, and a lot of times you only remember how you finish. How they finished the last 2 years.
Exactly.
I think is how more some of the pessimism could come into because there is a fear of what comes down the pike. But I think the big part of the excitement right now, and I'm seeing it with like Clinton on the talking text line from hanging out in Hale's Corners. He's a season ticket holder. He goes, no, not desensitized, energized. The boys have rallied around Murph. He's a fun guy to be around. Reminds me of Ron Renicky, Dunn, Bauer. It's all about the young guys on this team. And I think it's some of the newness that will energize fans. That's what I think energized Packer fans last year.
It's Murph. It's old school, fun, jolly Murph, right? That old, just prototypical manager that won't congratulate a young guy on his first hit or his first home run. He sits there, doesn't shake a hand of a player on their first, lineup announcement to the home stands, right? The guy who just stands there and, how's that scowl? And yet the team that goes out and hits the snot of the ball. I'm telling you, Armin, it's the fact that it's a new team and it looks different. The early success might be the same. And yes, nobody's going to scream World Series champion in April with 150 games left. But doggone, it feels good watching a different style, a different feel of a Brewers team this year from what we've seen in recent years.
Well, it does feel good because obviously they're winning and it is different. I mean, they're hitting the ball and it's a little more exciting. And when you have a new manager, and there was a lot of bad feelings I know about Counsell leaving, I had him too. So in that sense, yes, I agree. We're probably going to be re-energized because it's a anti-Counsell thing. Like, we can win without you. We got a new guy.
There's some of that for sure.
We've moved on without you.
Really enjoying what they did in San Diego the last couple of days.
So in that sense, I get why it's energizing for fans, and I'm energized. But I'm always energized when they play well. I was just excited this year.
You're just a better fan than everyone else.
Yeah,
I don't want
such a big fan.
Way bigger, way better.
Okay, so I didn't mean to make it sound like I'm gatekeeping or doing any of that. That's not what I was trying to say. If that's the way it sounds, okay, I wasn't trying to say that. Maybe people can take it that way. So
don't
be
think
it.
me and Billy are picking on you. Unnamed in the 920. Unnamed in the 920. Armin says, Armin, don't be an Eeyore. Lumberjack Pete says, so the Brewers are on Armin's watch list.
Kind of seems like it.
So no. I'm actually trying to make the point.
You're saying Brewers fans are on your watch list.
I'm not. That's a great point, Billy. I'm not being an Eeyore. I'm excited every night they're playing well, but I remember being excited last year when they started off well. And I'm sorry, we've been winning a lot over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And Brewers fans have been the most miserable group for the last 3 years while this team has been winning. It's just the facts.
Okay, so that's Armin Sarian.
That's my
414-799-1973. Let's get one quick call before the break. Let's go to Armin in Oconomowoc because Armin Sarian, we're having trouble following. Let's see if we can follow Armin in Oconomowoc a little bit better on his Brewers thoughts. Armin, what's happening?
Yeah, the other Armin. Hey, I think a lot of what's going on with fans is, I don't know if the expectations were there this year with Woody being injured for the year and Burns getting traded and just a new look, young roster. I don't think the expectation was as high as it had been in the past few years. So when the team comes out like this, it's a brand new tidal wave. It's like, holy crap, these young guys can actually do this. So I don't think anybody was really desensitized to it. I just don't think they were expecting the team to look like this.
Oh, that's very, very fair. Armin and Oconomowoc, thanks for the call. And I do believe that expectations set your reactions, right?
I totally agree.
They set how excited you can be. This talk and text line is on fire. 414-799-1973. A lot more Brewers excitement than we had heard a couple of months ago, which is good. Now let's see, coming up here at 1240, if it continues to roll. 414-799-1973. Where's your sports attention going to? It seems like right now everybody is on the Crew because they're cruising 8-3, try to take 3 of 4 from the Cincinnati Reds this week. Still can't find a way to get Ellie De La Cruz out. We're going to find a way to do that. We're going to find a way to get that cat out because he is a problem. He is a massive problem. Otherwise, maybe just hit ground balls to him and make him make defensive plays. That might be the
That's the
easiest
only
way
Tire
to
him
hit
out.
that cat.
Just tire him out.
Yeah.
Just pepper him with ground balls.
I mean, that
and
throw
tire him
over
out.
to second early, yes. I'm like, okay, hit it to 44 and see what happens.
Make him play baseball.
Make him play defense because on offense, he's making it hurt against the Crew, and we'll see if he makes it hurt a little bit more coming up here at 1240. Your takes continuing on. Chuck Garbedian talks Masters as Jack Nicklaus just piped up the ceremonial drive.
Right down the
Stud.
fairway.
Right down the middle. John, as he's warming up on the tee box, I'm like, man, they let anybody play in the. Oh, that's Jack Nicklaus. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Shut your mouth,
How
Billy.
did this guy
Shut-
get an exception? Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, my man can barely even bend over to set up the tee. Oh, he's got 18 majors. Got it. Okay, that's why. That's why he's in. 414-799-1973, where you can get in on the conversation. He's John Kuhn. I'm Billy Schmidt. Armin Sarian's right here. The Brewers are 8-3. But are you desensitized to the winning Brewers fans? You can answer it. It's 9 to noon. It's off and running on the game. Good vibes pumping through the Brewers clubhouse. They get ready for their game against the Cincinnati Reds, formerly the Cincinnati Redlegs. That was changed as a 1950s run because back in the day, you called yourself the Reds. But like, you a communist?
Yeah, that's true. That's a true story.
You Cincinnati communists over here? So for a good 10 years, they changed the Redlegs. They're like, okay, now it's all clean. Cold War's over. We're going to go back to the Reds.
At their behest. Because they that's true. We looked that up, right, Billy? It was during the Cold War. They didn't want to be called the Red. So they're like, call us the Redlegs.
Not trying to be good. We're not the Reds. We are not the Russians. We are not the communists.
I just think people figured by then because they are the oldest team in baseball.
You'd think they would have been aware of it. Yeah, you would have thought they would have been aware of it, but they weren't. Big Red Machine looks like they are trying to get back on track. They got a nice offensive club, but your Milwaukee Brewers are the ones that are bringing the bats early in the season. 8-3 win last night. They have two more wins against Cincinnati. They get one more here today. They can take 3 of 4 in that series before heading themselves out for the continuation of this road trip. John brought it up yesterday on our show call. They do have a decent amount of road games to start on out the season because they go to Baltimore, come back, they get 3, then they go to St. Louis, to Pittsburgh for a 4-game banger, and back at American Family Fields Friday of the draft. So I mean, they get three home games, John, in the next 2 weeks. That's not an appetizing start to the schedule unless you know that you're going to get it made up in the back end. It's also made a little bit better when you go and start pounding the rock, going out to Cincinnati like they were last night. Heavy air in Cincinnati last night. The way Yelich's ball just snuck out, I thought, oh, okay, we're going to see some Cincinnati homers here tonight. And then the Reds later in the night just kept getting that ball beat down going into deep center field. That was awesome to watch.
It's cool to see because a lot of times you like to take a look at the splits home and away, and the Brewers right now being able to hit the ball in the different parks is another just added little bonus. I don't know what statistic that would be called, Armin. Try and create an acronym for hitting in opponents' ballparks for power. Like what would that? H?
Yeah, I don't know. Field
BPP.
Field independent pitching would be something similar.
That's different, but there's also park luck factor, I think.
Well, weighted runs created plus equalizes out or averages out the changes in the parks, I believe. That's why many people love that newer analytic of a way to analyze how good a player is hitting. And the easiest way is, more importantly, they made a round number the benchmark. 100 is an average MLB player.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Just give us the numbers as to what makes sense, what's good, and then I can judge if it's good or not. That's the only way I understand any of these baseball analytics.
Well, and the thing is about numbers and analytics, you can slice them, dice them any way you want. I like to do that personally, right? I mean,
you do.
I could give you the 98.5% to make the playoffs right now, but I mean, it's the first or second week of the season. So obviously these numbers, I could give you our team wars, but the equations don't really have a good sample size yet for the first few weeks. So there's good numbers out there. I just, it's Bryce Terang at 907 OPS hitting 342. I pray that those numbers sustain. I just don't know if Bryce Terang is going to win the batting crown a year after hitting like 200, but maybe it'll happen. Maybe I'm
that's
the guy
a lot of
wrong.
Pessimism coming from you.
Well, it is, and it's surprising because usually maybe I'm not
just
that
praying
guy.
These guys are going to get better. Didn't you listen to Pat Murphy? He said Bryce Terang is going to be a better offensive player this year.
Well, he has to be.
After game 1, he's like, thought I was lying. Y'all thought I was lying, huh? Well, I like more than what Armin is spewing on out. People like Molly in the Falls. Again, no one had an issue with Counsell leaving. They had an issue with where he was going. He went to the Cubs. I think most fans think it was time to make a change, and they are exceeding our expectations, and they are a more exciting young team right now. The youth is exciting, right? I do think the unknown is a reason why it can get exciting, and it swept our boy Tyler and Madison up. He sent us in like 15 times, guys. His hot take: Brewers are winning 100 games this year. Okay,
that's
come on,
quite
Tyler.
a take. I love it.
Come on, Tyler.
Considering it's never happened.
Smashing that total.
Considering no Milwaukee baseball franchise team has ever won 100 games. That'd be amazing if it happened. I'm just saying it's not.
Try and find a way to fit one negative thing into every little
No,
text.
it's
Is
fine.
that going to be his
100
one
games.
thing today?
That's his one thing.
Yeah, Yelich is hitting 100 homers too. Actually, that's probably what's going to happen.
He just might.
I hope he does. Actually, I hope he hits
608,
80
love you,
homers.
Armin, but you are coming across as a real wet blanket today. Just enjoy fun baseball. Everyone realizes it's very early in the season.
I am enjoying it. I wanted people to enjoy it the last 2 years too for the first month, and they weren't doing it because of one reason, because they got used to the success, and it's like, you know what, the grass is always greener on the other side, and we get outs, but that's boring and whatever. We don't hit the ball, we don't hit 100 home runs enough and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I get it, sure. I wish we were the perfect team too all the time, you know. So
I love Mark. Damn, Armin. Enough being negative and just enjoy this. Have fun for once.
I wish these
For
guys.
once in your life, have some fun, Armin.
I wish these guys were around 24 months ago when the Brewers were 32-18 and everyone was complaining every day. That's all I'm saying. So
I do think that's being a little hyperbolic.
I do.
I
too.
don't
I do
believe
too.
people were complaining every single
They
day.
weren't complaining every day. I was complaining because Christian Yelich couldn't hit, and I said,
Yeah.
well, you got to watch out for this.
Mhm.
Are we on Christian Yelich watch? And that might have been about the time B-Red started the Yelich,
The Yelich watch, which he's still doing, which I give him credit for. Yeah,
I do like that he's keeping up. He's
I-
keeping that energy while Yelich is starting out
He-
strong.
he is keeping the energy, which it takes a man to do that, right? Because last year I was accusing him of only doing it when he wasn't hitting, because he had an
Mhm.
agenda. But he's saying, hey, I'm doing Yelich watch, and he's hitting right now. So I give him credit for that.
Tony in Oak Creek, Armin is the voice of reason. Get off his back. 414-799-1973. I don't know that that's necessarily.
I didn't
Well,
expect
Billy,
that.
I think if we're going to be absolutely fair here and relate this back like Armin is doing to when they had that incredible start through 50 games, and it was the best Brewers start through 50 games in their history. If we really go back and we look at that, we will see a lot of people wanted to know, why can't Yelich hit? Why is the team average 250?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we winning every game that we win 3-2? Can we just string some hits together so it's not this nail biter in the ninth inning trying to get a save, right? And that's true. A million players left on base in the last 3 years for this Brewers team. And now that's not the case. But when you look back at that, we were always told, well, it's pitching and defense that wins for this Brewers team. And Mike Heller's favorite line is, it's pitching and defense that wins in the postseason. So this Brewers team, even though their offense is extremely fun to watch right now, the thing you have to monitor, Armin, going forward, the thing that the Brewers team is going to have to really prove to us is that pitching and defense, that they have that, and that thing will be solid, because that's what everybody tells us wins in the postseason. Although all I've watched in the postseason the last few years is teams putting up 7 runs and winning baseball games.
I actually agree with you. I think the pitching and defense thing is a little overstated in the playoffs. And the Packers, the Brewers had that last year, didn't they? The Brewers had pitching and defense, but didn't win it from
their
the
pitching
postseason.
did not perform in the postseason.
That's exactly my point. Yeah, it didn't show
So
up in the
pitching,
postseason.
if it performs, will win.
Yeah,
and can win.
And that's like anything else. That's like offense. You just have to play well that day. I think home runs win the postseason. That's always been my personal opinion. Pitching helps, obviously, but you still have to score runs as well.
414-799-1973. Todd is in Sheboygan. He's been waiting patiently. He's got something on this. Todd, what's on your mind?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning, guys. I think, Armin's definitely onto something. I don't know. I want to say desensitized, but I think important fans on alert. I think he's right on that. You look at last year. We've done a lot of winning, or the Brewers have done a lot of winning, not us. But look at the attendance. You look at some of those games, and you're like, okay, a few years ago in 2018, like this place had 37,000 people, like on maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday. Now it's like high 20s. I think people just get used to it, and then when you fail in the postseason, it's kind of like, well, here we go again. I guess I'm going to cite an example. Look at the Braves and their 14,
Oh, sure, in the 90s. Yep.
Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And they started, towards the end of that run, they'd be having playoff games where they had empty seats. I think people just get used to it. So let's see what happens with, everybody calling or texting into this station. For the most part, it's going to be on board, listening, watching, excited about this. And I think everybody's excited. Let's see what happens when they go on their first 5-game losing streak. And, then kind of see what's in, I'd like to see attendance be a little bit better. But I think we just, as fans, we just get used to stuff. You know, when a team sucks, we're like, man, they can't ever win a game. And then when they start winning, it's like, well, now how come they only won 2 series? They should win 3 series in a row. And then, you know, after they win a bunch of series, it's like we just always want more. And I know that's part of being a fan. But then I think sometimes we just detach ourselves a little bit. And, you know, it'd be nice to have that same momentum. And the casual fan jumps on and off all the time.
Appreciate it, Todd, and I do agree with a large portion of what he said, John. I also think some of it is the success that you've seen in the state with a lot of their teams, most importantly, the Green Bay Packers, in a sport that is completely equitable, right? In a sport where financially you are on an even playing field, and at some particular point in time, people think that's going to happen in baseball. I'm here to tell you, I don't believe it's going to, right? Like I don't believe it's going to. So you're going to have to know that these are the rules you're going to play by. And maybe it does change some expectations. And some people are never going to like it. Some people are never going to fully comprehend it, or some choose to just despise the sport because of it. I think also what he's saying though is the success can continue to raise expectations. I don't think it's bad that Brewer fans think that they can win a World Series or want them and believe they should be competing for that. But understanding that you're on a little bit of an uphill climb for that success is a little bit different necessarily here than with Match Diamond's New York Yankees, who you are going to go and watch in the suite, correct?
That's happening?
That's happening?
Yeah, we're about 95% of the way there.
Nice, man.
Did you respond
By the way,
for crying out loud?
I did text him last night. By the way, he never asked me. He never actually asked me. And I went back in the text afterwards yesterday when I was texting back. I was like, he never actually asked me. He said, March 28th, Yankees Brewers suite, pencil it in or ink it in or something like that, right?
So he told you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't. There was no question. Hey, can you go? Would you be available? He just said, put it in.
It's a Josh deal.
Wow,
So I put it
tell
in.
Kuhn what to do.
But what's funny is, so I put it in. I didn't know I needed to respond, but I'm 95% of the way there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that Schneidman was just like, hey, throw it in your calendar. It's in there. I got to check Cozy first. I got to check the Cozy app first.
Yeah, the Cozy app is
Cozy
very
app.
important. And right now, Cozy looks favorable, but I have to have one conversation. I think everybody knows why.
414-799-1973. We'll have that conversation will be had. And I can only imagine it's going to be fun. Not as fun as the conversation we're going to have next. Did you guys hear John Calipari last night? Pig Suey down in Arkansas. He is all excited to be coaching who? The audio from John Calipari's start as the Arkansas Razorback head coach cannot be missed on this radio program. And also, John, there's a little something about that's peeving off my man Armin Sarian. We got to get into that before Chuck Garbedian joins us in 20 minutes about the Masters. Oh, all sorts of nervous here.
No, it's
all sorts of worry.
Different emotion.
The Marquette Warriors are alive and well for my man Armin Sarian as he's, toning down that true blue brew crew fan base of saying, just be here. Make sure you're here and make sure you're here. Coming up next when we do this thing on the other side, Chuck Garbedian in 20 minutes, John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian, 9 to noon on the Game. Hey guys, just because the NBA regular season is starting to quiet down and come to an end, the playoffs are right around the corner. Best way to get in on all the action is with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Whether it's NBA, baseball as well, their pick'em game for NHL, you want some hockey involved, or big golf tournament going down in Georgia, you can get into one of their pick'em games as well. All you got to do is pick 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on a player's stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your cash. It's legal in Wisconsin. It's tons of fun to play. You can watch along with Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee Brewers, or makes a whole lot of random national games a lot more interesting when you got a little something on the line. Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play. My favorite part is you can continue in on the action mid-game. If your first quarter picks don't win, you can go and try to get another pick'em into the second half. Live plays with Underdog Fantasy, best way to get in. The best way to get in on the action now. Download the easy-to-use mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Billy, B-I-L-L-Y. Your first deposit up to $100 is matched. Plus, they're going to give you a special mystery pick on your first pick 'em entry, which is a guaranteed W. Promo code Billy, Billy, first deposit of 10 or more dollars up to $100 matched, plus your special pick. Underdog Fantasy must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. It's 9 to noon on the game. Pass along some news that is breaking right now. John Kuhn hanging out with Billy Schmidt. I'm Billy Schmidt. John Kuhn's right there. Armin Sarian's here. O.J. Simpson has passed away. His family has announced via his social media account passing away at 76 years old after a battle with cancer. Obviously, a checkered life, a lot lived, and continue to stay in the media, continue to stay in the limelight his entire life, whether good, bad, extremely bad. But he's a name that is still one of those that is most synonymous when you still think of the most dominant players in the NFL at one particular point in time. That was O.J. Simpson. Like, he was, out of everything that happened post-playing career, while on the field, he's still one of the most feared runners with the football of all time. Like, if you still talk to people that played against him, he was one of, if not John, the best player a lot of guys in his era said they had ever played against.
And yet most people remember White Bronco.
Well, that's what it's going to be, and that's what it
If
is.
the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Breaking into a memorabilia hotel room
in Vegas.
in
That's right.
Vegas, and wildly candid postings on Twitter and social media. That's what most people remember OJ by.
I think you said it right, Billy. A fixture in American life. I don't think it was for good reasons necessarily. Obviously, for most of the bad reasons. I think people have their opinions of what happened in that, even though he was acquitted. But that was one of the biggest events in the late part of the century. Obviously, in the 90s, and one of those things that everyone remembers where they were for that. You know, you always talk about the whole thing with the White Bronco and all that stuff. Everyone remembers that. So in that sense, a fixture in American life. Kind of mixed feelings on his passing.
Oh yeah,
I don't
100%.
think a lot of people have sympathy, but hey, it was like a chapter's closed. Let's just put it that way.
That's a good way of putting it. A chapter is closed, and you said, John, the wild postings on social media.
Wild.
I mean, like I will say, there's a part of me that is going to miss his random video on the most outrageous topic possible.
Right.
People are asking me how I feel about the court case. Going, are they?
Yeah.
Are they, OJ? I don't know if they are necessarily. Like, that was always something to watch. Were his tweets, and I will say this: they also brought tremendous content to the Drew and KB show. Like, I mean, they've found different ways for OJ to make an appearance on their program. They
played those tweets a lot.
Wait, Hunter called him up one time.
No,
and got him on the show.
I think that was a KB booking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was KB booking. But I mean, their friend Kato Kalin. You wouldn't know Kato Kalin if it wasn't for the OJ Simpson stories. I mean, like, it is, just a name that will now go away. You mentioned June 17th, 1994. One of the better documentaries.
Really good. 30 for 30.
30 for 30 ever made was that entire night around the White Bronco chase and everything else that was going around sports.
Didn't the Knicks beat the Rockets that day to take a lead in the NBA Finals?
In the NBA Finals, yep.
There's a lot going on. I think there was also Stanley Cup.
People forget that. Like, that was a big deal. That took over, and I remember exactly where I was when that thing was on television. I was sitting in an apartment building in, East York, Pennsylvania, watching this thing take place. It was unbelievable, and it went so long into the night where the Bronco was allowed. Yeah. They allowed the Bronco to go back to the house and pull in, and then everybody gathered around the house, and it was, will he come out? When will he come out? And it just seemed to have lasted forever.
I remember we were all sitting around. I was 9 years old. We were all sitting around in the living room, kind of watching this thing unfold. But you're right, John. It was Arnold Palmer playing the final round of the 94 U.S. Open.
And that was his final one,
his
correct?
final one.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. I think the World Cup was being commenced. I don't think they were playing, but it was like, or maybe
it was the opening ceremonies of them, and they were in America.
In America for the first time. That was another big deal in 94 that we were hosting the World Cup. Rangers had their Stanley Cup final parade going on in New York.
While the Knicks were in
Game 5 of the finals. And then they had split coverage and broke up. Because, see, what I remember is I was 9, and I was kind of intrigued by this, but I wanted to watch the Knicks and the Rockets game. and they kept breaking away. And,
And they didn't have
away.
YouTube at the
There
time,
was
so you
nothing.
had no chance to
So, like,
watch.
hell's
so
going
I think I was writing the score down whenever they would like break away to remember what the score was. Then they'd come back to the game, and I wanted to see what like the score change was because I was trying to figure out what was happening in the game because it was on NBC and it was Rockets Knicks NBA Finals Game 5. So that was crazy. Obviously, Rockets ended up winning that.
More importantly,
Not
1994,
important.
Billy Schmidt was born. So,
And Billy Schmidt was born.
good things did come from that year.
According to the internet, Ken Griffey, it really was Billy. We're happy to have you.
So
Ken
was this
Griffey tied
pre-Billy
Babe
or
Ruth's record.
post-Billy?
This was pre-Billy. Yeah.
So Billy was still not even out yet.
No,
Nope,
I was still baking, 7 months in, and actually, my mom tells a pretty good story that night because my dad lost his ring finger in a work accident. So she was at the hospital waiting for my dad to come out of surgery after losing his finger while she's watching the Bronco chase, and she's like, "I'm 7 months pregnant. My husband just lost a finger. The national news has got a guy chasing around in a white Bronco. What world am I bringing this kid into?" And then I came 2 months later and everything got better. Don't worry.
And the Knicks beat the Rockets in Game 5. Think of all the crazy stuff that happened.
That's wild.
It got wild. It got crazy.
Rockets won though, the series. I mean, that just sorry, that's not.
You don't think we
important.
knew that? They
I
went
think
back to back.
All right, fine, fair enough. You did. I didn't need to say that. I didn't need to say it. All right, you're right. You're right.
414-799-1973.
Did anybody win the championship around there? I mean, we don't know that era at all, Armin.
No.
That era isn't permanently engraved in our brains.
Actually, I know we got to
You
go.
don't bring
but
it up three
actually-
times a week.
Actually, it is a kind of a time warp for people of those non-Jordan years. People kind of do forget those.
No,
years.
everybody knows it's 3
You-
Bulls,
you-
2 Rockets, 3 Bulls.
you and I-
Everybody knows it.
you and I-
Everybody
I
knows
wasn't
it.
even
There's not
born and I knew it.
there's not a person in the world that doesn't know the Rockets won the 2 when Jordan was out.
I'm just saying, do they remember?
And
those
Jordan was
playoff
actually
games?
back for one, but he didn't
was.
come back until late in the
not
season.
not in time. The
They
Magic beat 'em.
everybody knows it goes 3 Bulls, 2 Rockets, 3 Bulls.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
If you didn't, please let us know.
Yeah.
414-799-1973.
414-799-1973. We got Chuck Garbedian joining us next. Talk about the Masters golf tournament starting on up here. Maybe the only thing that was going to take ESPN away from coverage at Augusta National, Jeremy Schaap eulogizing OJ Simpson on television. Like that's where this story goes to. He's one of the most polarizing, if not the most polarizing North American athlete of multiple generations, and passed away last night, I should say, at the age of 76. We reset in hour number 2. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian, and Chuck Garbedian joins the conversation talking Masters next on The Game. Yeah, any reason to play some Willie Nelson, I'm going to be a fan of. Any reason to have Chuck Arbedian on the radio, I'm going to be excited for because it's hour number 2. It is Masters weekend. They have finally started on up. The rain has subsided. The winds have maybe at hour number 2 at 9 to noon is starting on up. John Coons right there. I'm Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian here. And now Chuck Arbedian joins us on the Talking text line, talking Masters, talking golf. Chuck, let's tee it up this year. What do you say? How you feeling this morning as we get into the afternoon, which will be a little bit later golf at Augusta National
Hello,
today?
friends. How are you? Everything going well so far today?
It's going great. It's going fantastic. We just learned that Scott Drew is turning down the Kentucky job. Armin is all nervous that Shaka Smart is going to now go to Kentucky. And I got a bunch of investments on the Masters, Chuck, so we're feeling very, very good in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Did you have a rain delay as the over/under on Thursday? Because you would have won that one.
Yeah, I wish I should have found that one.
Hey, Chuck, you guys getting the ball airborne at the ceremony of the first team?
Yeah, that's an absolutely. You have to say yes on that. Jack, Freddie, Garrett, yeah, they're getting that ball up there. But Chuck, I do want to ask you, rain delay for regular mortals like all of us that go out on the golf course. You know what that means. You belly up to the bar, you sit down, you probably have one too many, so your first tee shot goes straight to the right. What do these players do, especially the ones that might not find out they have a delayed tee time until they wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for their tee time around 8? What do those players do?
Well, these guys all knew that they were going to be delayed today, and the hard thing is going to be the guys later in the afternoon. I mean, you get the Tiger Woods' tee time, which I think is at like 3:54 this afternoon. He's not going to finish. So those are the guys you got to really worry about, the ones that are probably after 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, because what's going to happen to them is they're going to get maybe 13, 14, 15 holes and then have to get up really early on Friday morning to finish the first round, to then wait and then begin the second round even later. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys shake it off. Most of them will just sit in and do what they normally do, which is either get in a workout or two, they'll pop in a movie or two, they'll go find something to do, because a lot of them have family in the area and have brought families and entourages down with them. So consequently, they'll keep themselves occupied. A lot of the houses that they rent have pool tables, ping pong tables, dartboards. So they'll keep themselves busy for most of the day until they have to get to the golf course and get ready to tee it up.
Okay, so I'm interested now. Yeah, entourages. Families, yes. Entourages, I'm interested in. Who brings the biggest entourage and who's in that entourage? I'm picturing Marky Mark and all his boys walking down, the fairway here, cheering their guy on.
Yeah,
well, all the live guys probably have the biggest entourages because they have the most free capital to spend on things like that. So they'll have a masseuse, they'll have a cook, they'll have someone who folds the sheets, they'll have someone who goes in and picks up the pasta and grills the chicken. They'll have,
and these are all their friends,
people
right?
just hanging around. Yeah, they have lots of people and they have lots of discretionary income. My favorite non-entourage story of the week so far is Greg Norman not being allowed onto the grounds at the Masters, and he had to buy a ticket on the secondary market just to get on the grounds yesterday.
Oh,
so that
you
was
love that, Chuck. I know you love that.
That's
Chuck.
awesome.
Yeah.
Take that, Greg.
I'm reading the Hughes Norton book right now. Hughes Norton is going to come on the show next week, not this week because this week is all Masters people, but next week. And Hughes Norton has written a book called Rainmaker, and he just absolutely torches Greg Norman in this book. It's fascinating to read how this guy lived his life and what he did for IMG, and he holds like no grudges and he holds no bars. He tells every story with names and everything. So it's a fascinating read if you haven't had the chance. It's called Rainmaker, and then Hughes Norton will be on the show a week from this Saturday.
Sounds like
Amazon.
chicken soup
Nice.
for the golfer's soul right there, John.
Amazon.com, looking up
There you
Rainmaker.
go.
Find that bad boy right now.
Prime delivery. Okay.
Hey, it's going to be on your show, you said.
Next week.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That's awesome.
On the
Okay.
20th. Yep. This is breaking news, by the way. Danny Willett 1 under now.
Okay, breaking.
Let's go.
Danny
Let's
Willett.
mark
one
my
under.
card here.
Danny Willett.
Yeah. Write
Are
that
we
down.
are we
champion.
watching? Are we keeping a tight eye on Danny Willett? Why is that breaking news? Is he high up
Danny
on
Willett
your?
had shoulder surgery. He was anticipated not being able to play for 12 to 18 months, and in 6 months he's come back from the surgery and he's actually playing. I mean, his recovery has been
Beast.
remarkable. There have been some fascinating
economics.
medical stories. Gary Woodland with a brain lesion underwent surgery, and he's playing. He made a hole-in-one during the par 3 contest yesterday. Danny Willett had major shoulder surgery, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not going to play," and he's like, "Yeah, I am." I mean, so he's leading right now. I mean, take a picture of the leaderboard and send that one back home to everybody. Use it as your screenshot. So it's amazing to think, what you can do now with the medical procedures that are done these days.
All right, let's talk about it with Chuck Garbedian here. Garbedian on Golf Saturday mornings here on the Game and the iHeartRadio app. You can also listen in Madison, all over the state of Wisconsin. Most importantly, iHeartRadio app, anywhere you can listen to Garbedian on Golf.
You want to do the drinking game? The drinking game is
Chuck, that's a bad question. Of course,
this is Wisconsin,
I
Chuck.
drinking
This
game.
is Wisconsin.
What is it again, Chuck?
If you hear multi-award winning Garbedian on Golf, then you have to take a drink.
Okay, all right. I'm down with that. I'm going to be hammered by 10 a.m. once I tee on off if I'm doing this.
10 a.m.? What takes you so long? Come on.
Everybody get your KB Masters cup ready.
It's been a rain delay. This is when the Bloody Marys start flowing.
Yeah, John, you're right. I'd be having a breakfast burrito if I was one of these guys waiting at least one Bloody Mary. I guys got to take the edge off here at one particular point in
The
time.
Mento cheese sandwich, right?
I'm going something
No.
bigger than that.
Yeah.
I'm going
Egg
something
salad.
bigger than that. Chuck,
Egg salad sandwich.
come on. Egg salad,
What?
really? That's what you're picking?
Yeah.
out of
Oh,
all
yeah. The
those
Masters
things?
egg salad, yes. As Doug Russell, when Doug Russell was producing the multi-award winning Garbedian on Golf.
Drink.
Everybody
Oh,
drink.
drink.
Yep.
I made the sandwiches. I got the recipe from one of the guys at Augusta National, and I made the sandwiches and brought one in for him. And he was like, "This is the greatest egg salad sandwich I've ever had," because they have a secret recipe inside the egg salad sandwich.
Oh, well, that'd be the first egg salad sandwich I've ever had. So it has a pretty good chance
Oh.
of being a winner. One that I don't think has a great chance of being a winner, Chuck, and I would love for it to be, Tiger Woods was 140-1 to win the Masters. He said, I think I got one more left in me. More importantly, you mentioned him. He now is teeing off like close to 3:00. It's going to get dark there before 7. He's going to end up playing 4:00. He's going to end up playing tomorrow, have to pick right back on up and try to play 20-ish holes tomorrow. There's no way he's
And
making
that's
this
if
cut,
everything
right?
goes okay.
Yeah.
That's if everything goes all right. If everything goes according to schedule, and they're anticipating maybe another delay in a little while, so there's a possibility that there's a chance he may not get on the golf course until 5 or 6 today. So consequently, he's going to have the majority of his round to play tomorrow, and then they're going to have to turn around pretty quickly and try to get the other one in. The good news is there's only 88 players in the field, so you have an opportunity to maybe get it done. Whereas normally in a PGA Tour event, you'd have anywhere from 144 to 156. There's only 88, so I mean, you may be able to cycle through that pretty quickly, but still, you're not going to get everybody around the golf course. Plus, if the winds are blowing as they anticipate, the winds today are supposed to be 15 to 20 with gusts of 30 to 40. So no one's going to get up and go, it's a stock 7-er. They're going to go, which way is the wind blowing? And every 2 seconds, the wind's going to change in a different direction. There are going to be people who are going to be mentally exhausted after this round by the 3rd hole, simply because of all the decisions that they're going to have to make in terms of club selection, how the ball's lying in regards to how the ground is responding to the moisture that they've had. And then you have sub-air systems in all the greens. So consequently, the greens are going to be drier than the fairways or any of the surrounding areas. So how is the ball going to react when it comes off the club face and then lands on the green? There are a multitude of different, just you can multiply this by 1 billion. This could be the Powerball times 10 and never get a number for years, because there are going to be so many decisions that are going to have to be made in a round.
Well, you just got to play it like an amateur and skip it up there and just hope that it sticks in the middle of the green. With all these decisions.
Chipping a chance. Come on now.
Get
Get
yourself
us on that dance floor.
Get yourself a miss hit that skims and runs right in between 2 bunkers and up into the middle of the green. All right, Chuck. Scheffler, Rahm, Koepka. Who's your favorite?
I to be honest with you, I'm looking at Brooks Koepka. I know it's the dark side and it's live, but Koepka played well for 54 holes last year. I think he was a little overwhelmed by the moment going into the 4th round. He said coming out of that it was never going to happen again. He went on and made to win the PGA Championship and set it up for the rest of the year and for a lot of majors for him to come. I think he's one of the favorites by far. I think one of the most entertaining golfers at this event this year will be Jordan Spieth, because he's come in some fine form and has done some really crazy things so far this year.
Yeah, he hit it onto a clubhouse.
Into the roof and then into the gutter and then down the clown's mouth, and then he won a free game. It was kind of nice. You get like $25 in the shop after.
Wasn't he terrible last year, though? Or am I thinking of Justin Thomas?
He's terrible by PGA Tour standards occasionally, but it's always entertaining.
Got it. Okay, I like that.
It's one of the hard things, because like Scotty Scheffler, everyone talks about him in the media, everybody talks about him on air, everybody talks about him in your foursome going, well, Scotty Scheffler's not a really good putter. Right. If Scotty Scheffler came out with you, he'd run the doors off of you on any play. The difference is he's not a really good putter according to tour statistics, because they play at a higher level. the thing is at Augusta National, it doesn't matter if you're Angel Cabrera or you're Vijay Singh, both notoriously bad putters. They both won there. So you don't have to be a great putter at Augusta National. As a matter of fact, being a great putter sometimes hinders you because you hit it to places where you know you shouldn't hit it to, and then you go, I can't make this putt. Whereas a bad putter just goes, sure, I'll run it in, and they just ram it in the hole.
That's
so
generally what I
Scotty
do.
Scheffler has a really good chance because he's excellent at driving the golf ball. He's great with second shots going in. He's not a very good putter, but it doesn't really matter at this event because, especially with the water, a better ball striker may be your best bet.
All right, one of my favorites is Tony Finau. Does he have any bit of a chance? I bet him on every single one of these majors, Chuck, and I have not won yet. I watch him on Full Swing. My man you want to talk about an entourage? He's cooking for 10 people sitting there with his whole family at every event. Love the guy. Is he actually have a chance here, or do I have to go top 10 and have like an Armin bet where it feels like I'm betting on a horse to show?
Hey, play it safe.
I would go top 20 and get an Armin.
There you go.
Not gonna win.
$2 is $2, Billy, and that's enough to buy you a pimento cheese and have money back because I think it's $150.
Yeah, and
you just leave it in the tip jar after that.
There you go. Right.
Tony Finau is a guy we've all loved ever since he dislocated his ankle and put it back into place.
Yeah, he's like, hold on one second.
On the par 3 tournament, but his entourage is simply his family. He doesn't have cooks that he brings. He has to cook for all 10 of his kids.
He was flipping them French toast things, the little Nutella in the middle, John. I'm like, I want to be at this Airbnb.
Absolutely.
All right, Chuck, give us a name we shouldn't expect to compete with those favorites you just talked about.
Well, if you're looking at favorites, it's Scheffler, Rahm, Koepka, probably Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, of course. But this is like the 10th attempt at trying to complete the career Grand Slam. If you're looking for maybes, a couple things that have to go their way for it to happen. You're looking at Will Zalatoris, Cam Smith, Joaquin Niemann. I'd say Hideki Matsuyama, Justin Thomas, Wyndham Clark. I'll tell you, Julie Elion, the performance coach, has done a number with Wyndham Clark. If you've seen the episode in Full Swing, she's now taken on 6 or 7 more clients, and they've done extremely well, including Akshay Bhatia, who won last week. She may be the overall big winner at the Masters if Wyndham Clark can put it together for 4 rounds at Augusta.
Listen, Chuck named 2 of the guys, John, that I have on 2 of these tickets in here. I almost just lost my mind. That's guaranteed money if Chuck Garbinian is saying they have a chance to win. Holy cow.
You should caddy for him down there, Billy.
No chance. Nope. I want to have a chance to win. Nope. Chuck, I want to have a chance to win. I watched Heller come off of the University Ridge course last year at the AmFam, the senior tour event. There was no way in hell I'm caddying after watching him. He is in way better shape than I am. And John, he was gassed. And then he had 2 more days. I probably am going to have to sit on out of there and I'll enjoy the clubhouse. Cheer everybody on after.
It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. Chuck, let me ask you, have you seen what Sergio Garcia is wearing today? It kind of looks like an outfit that he got the news that the Packers are playing in Brazil. It's Brazil and Packer colors all the way. And I'm just curious, on a golf course that has such a strict dress code like Augusta National.
Holy cow.
I mean, how can they let him play in this?
Well, they have a strict dress code if you're a member bringing a guest. If you're a tour player playing at the Masters, you can pretty much wear almost anything you want. And so consequently, the live guys kind of try to push the envelope a little bit and do whatever they want to do and kind of turn their nose up to everything else that's conventional. The problem with it is you got to back it up. It's like guys that you see at the golf course that have their name on their golf bag. It's like, if you got your name on the bag, you better be able to play. Because if you can't back that up, man, you're going to hear it all day long.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, listen, and if you're out there looking like a can of Sprite, I guess you're good to go because that's basically.
You better enjoy it. Yeah,
that's what he looks like. But it's the Masters.
We sure he's not
colorway.
sponsored by Starry right now?
You know what? He might be.
He might be. Him and Giannis.
Guy.
Him and Giannis might be Starry guys.
Most players, if they have a fashion deal, will have clothes laid up for the week by the manufacturer.
Right.
Like a friend of mine, Charlie Bergeron, who owns Stitch Golf, he'll put together a pants, shirt, pullover combo kind of a thing for each day of the week, so that you kind of have a clue and you don't look like anybody else. There's no question with Sergio. There's no one else that's going to look like him all week,
and that's
no matter what he wears.
And then the branding,
he's
and
going to be in
merchandising.
his own orbit, and do whatever he wants.
Absolutely, and that's a big thing for the branding. They don't wake
Liv's
up
loving it.
Oh, they love it.
But again, if you're dressed like Mr. Peanut, you better be able to play because you're going to hear it if you don't play well.
But isn't Sergio an Adidas golf guy?
Not anymore. No.
Oh, okay.
That deal ended when he went to live. A lot of the manufacturers stopped providing equipment and clothing for anybody that went to live because there are certain performance clauses in their contract, and certain moral clauses in the contract. And it happened with Justin Thomas. He was with Ralph Lauren Polo, said a couple things, and they went, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So the manufacturer has every right to terminate the contract at whatever time for whatever reason. That's kind of written into most of them. And, as soon as they went to live, a lot of those guys lost their deals. I mean, Phil had a lifetime deal with Callaway, and that ended.
Yeah.
I mean, they've suspended that. They're not paying him anymore.
Chuck, I can
So if
imagine
he wants clubs or golf balls, he actually has to buy clubs and golf balls.
Chuck, and again, he doesn't need the money. It's not hurting him any bit. Can I ask you though, is with this changing golf landscape, maybe some of the sponsors, are they turning heel? I mean, Rory seems to have turned heel on some of his feelings about this whole thing. And do you see a world tour coming into play here in the future?
Well, I think it's going to happen at some point. This has got to have some sort of a conclusion. The problem with it is every time you start talking about living the PGA Tour and whether they can coexist, it brings in more questions than answers, because there are so many different tenets to the whole thing. Is, okay, these guys got paid. Now the guys who didn't get paid, who stayed, should they get paid because they stayed? Or does the guys who went and got paid, do they have to pay money back? Are they going to be suspended? Are they going to be withheld? Can they play in majors? Can they not play in majors? They're not members of the PGA Tour anymore. I mean, there are all kinds of things that go along with this. At some point, it has to reach some saturation where it goes, we're all going to try to do this. I think Jay Monahan with the PGA Tour and the members who are involved with the Performance Investment Fund are, the Saudi group, they're trying to work this out. The only thing that got worked out is it's just opened up more cans of worms more often. And I don't know when it ends or how it ends. It's hard to foresee an ending where it's going to be like, okay, on April 12th, this is going to happen, and this will be the end of it, and this is where we're going from here. Because they're going to go through the rest of this year running their own schedules. The PGA Tour's got a schedule, LIV's got a schedule. They're going to run through it, and it'll be interesting to see when when push comes to shove at the end of this season where we all are. Because at some point, there's a President's Cup coming up, there's another Ryder Cup coming up, there's the Olympics coming up. How does this whole thing shake out at some point, and who gets what out of it? And there are people way smarter than me have no idea how this is going to shake out. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people where they've just gone, and you go down a rabbit hole and you start asking questions, and then the next thing, that question leads to another question, which leads to another question, and you're not done yet, and you've been an hour in the conversation, and you're no closer to any type of conclusion, and you're further away from the question than you ever thought you'd be.
Is it too difficult to just say, all right, we're all men here, we all acted emotionally for a while, what happened in the past, but we're just going to build one super tour, a world tour, and this is what it's going to be? Is it just, why is it so difficult to just say, whatever happened in the past, let's move on?
That'd be pretty mature of us.
Because you don't know what the motives are of the people that are involved on either side. Neither side trusts each other. So consequently, it's hard to come to that agreement or come to that table, shake hands and go, let's be the bigger people and do that, because it's a finite amount of power and money, and everybody wants their slice of it. They're trying to figure out how do they keep theirs and how do they keep face, and how do you keep sponsors happy? How do you keep other people happy? How do you keep the players happy? How do you keep the entourages happy? Somebody's going to be upset at the end of this, and it's just a question of who do you upset the least, because there's no way that everybody's going to get what they want out of this. There's just no way. It's not possible.
How weird was it to hear John Rahm start saying like, hey, I think we should play 72 holes on these live events? Like, man, you just got $350 million. You knew you were playing 54.
I think what happened is the money's one thing, and it's not exactly what I think he thought it was going to be. I think he thought it was going to be something else. And I think there's a lot of guys that are involved with the LIV group that are thinking the same thing, but every 2 weeks when you get a check and it's got, a bunch of commas and a bunch of zeros, nobody's really, complaining about it. But at the same time, what's your legacy? I mean, the only thing that counts in golf are majors. That's all anybody talks about. You can tell, no one knows that Nicklaus finished, what his Ryder Cup record is, but you can, you always know how many majors he has.
Absolutely.
Same thing with Tiger. You don't know what his Ryder Cup record is because no one cares, but you know exactly where his major total is. That's what you measure everybody by. If you're a LIV player and you can't play in majors, what are you gonna do? And the thing that I always thought was funny about LIV, I'll just go off on a tangent for just a second. The funny thing I thought about LIV was LIV is supposed to be between 48 and 55 players. Okay, let's say that you're number 55 on the list and they bring in 3 new guys because they're signing them off the PGA Tour. What happens to me?
You get cut.
Bye.
You have but there's nowhere for you to play now. You can't play on LIV events. You can't play on the DP World Tour because that's owned by the PGA Tour. You can't play on the PGA Tour. Where am I supposed to make a living? Because, if you're number 55 on the list, you didn't get $350 million. You might have gotten some money, but you didn't get a lot of money, and it's not something you can live on for the rest of your life. And now what do?
Got to get better.
So, well, it's how do you get? Yeah, but you have no place to play to get better.
Well,
No,
fair.
You're right.
Risk that you
Head back to the fairway of Woodside.
Yeah,
Right,
get yourself on into that
that's why you get
simulator.
more questions, right? You end up at Broadlands running the shop with me, or you end up over at Eagle Springs Golf Resort enjoying the best course, 9-hole course since 1893. Those are your options.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Chuck, we are always enjoying conversation with you. We are going to be enjoying Garbedian on Golf Masters Edition coming up this Saturday morning. Hey, let's tee it up this summer. What do you say?
Let's tee it up, my friend. All the best.
You're the man. Chuck Garbedian, Garbedian on
Chuck.
Golf. Make sure that you are listening this weekend. Special Masters Edition, Garbedian on Golf. Hey, multi-time award winning. Drink.
Oh, you didn't have me ready here, Billy. Sorry about that. Here we go. There it is. There we go.
There we go. Drink it
All
on
right.
in. Drink it in, man. It is the Masters. It's starting on up in Augusta, Georgia. My man Phil Mickelson, they got showing here. He's poking out there a little bit. Looks like it's a little cold for Phil Mickelson.
It's a
at
chilly
the
day for
particular
Phil.
moment.
Yeah. Well,
It's cut nice, huh?
Cutting glass with that thing. But I think the live ventures in here, Phil finished second last year at the Masters? Live guys have had a lot of success rolling through here into the majors. I'm interested to see. I do wish that it was more combative though, when the live guys got into the clubhouse.
It was a lot better when they were throwing tees and balls on the range at one another and smack talking. Now it's back to being gentlemanly.
Yeah, that's no place for that on a golf course.
Come on.
No place for this maturity on the golf course. All right. 414-799-1973. We're back after this. There is news with your Green Bay Packers, and our former Green Bay Packer has something to say about the news that is continuing on. And how about this? I mentioned the John Calipari introductory press conference at Arkansas. We're trying to figure out, is Arkansas getting the better end of the deal, Calipari? What about Kentucky? Because they just got told no. By who? You'll find out right after this on The Game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and your home is a special place, special to you. And if you feel like your home is just ordinary right now, well, it's time to make it extraordinary with brand new Pella Windows and Doors. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain your friends and keep you comfortable, all while enjoying the best of both worlds. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated, energy efficient products and a couple complete ranges of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best in your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors in your home has never been easier. Right now, you can get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Sounds like a great deal. Or you can pay no down payment, no interest, and no payment for up to 18 months. That's another great deal if you book by April 30th. That's right. You heard it here. Get 0% interest for up to 36 months or no down payment, no interest, and no payments whatsoever for 18 months if you book by the end of this month. Pella is rated #1 by Milwaukee homeowners as the window brand that stands behind their products. So take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living in once again with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com and tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
9 to noon on the game. Hour 2 brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. The place to get all your locally and legally made hemp products in the state of Wisconsin is happyplacehemp.com or their storefront, Muskego, right off College Avenue. You can go and talk to Rob and Chris. They can answer any questions you have because I know you got a couple if you're new to the hemp game. Like, what can I expect from these products? They can give you all the answers you need, whether it's their Sleepy Time CBN gummies, CBD gummies, which have lasting effects throughout the day that can help you positively on your day in and day out, or your Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies, which are strictly recreational. They're THC, CBD infused seltzer, citrus seltzer called Drift. There's no alcohol, no calories, no problems. Just helps you drift into happiness and free shipping when you order 3 or more 4-packs. Make sure you use my promo code Billy, BILLY, at happyplacehemp.com. Get 25% off your entire order every time at happyplacehemp.com. 414-799-1973. Fellas, the news now going across the college basketball landscape, one that yesterday took eyes towards Waco, Texas. Scott Drew was reportedly in Lexington, Kentucky, meeting with the Kentucky basketball program after John Calipari officially tells them that he is headed to call the Hogs and be the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Well, that was refuted by Scott Drew when he posted a picture of him having lunch at a very nice Mexican sit-down restaurant yesterday.
He's like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm here with one of my boosters. We're having a great day in Waco, Texas.
Hanging out. We got queso. We got,
fajitas.
Yeah.
A little tableside guac. We don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah. And these margaritas are spectacular. I'm not leaving this place.
Yo,
I ain't leaving, so quit asking.
He just walked back into Waco like, what's up, everybody? And then people were thinking that the Family Feud episode was old, so it was a doctored picture.
Big Blue Nation was trying to find any way that they were not getting shot down by a guy that they thought was not cool enough and not enough of a rock star candidate to be the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah.
He said, well, cool. I don't want to be your head coach then. Similar to what the Kentucky football coach, Mark Stoops, potentially said after the Texas A&M fan base was like, the hell's Mark Stoops? We're paying a guy $77 million to not coach. We're going to hire Mark Stoops. He's like, well, I've won 10 games in the SEC twice in the last 4 years, better than you guys have done, but I'm going to stay here in Kentucky. So now it happens to Kentucky basketball because Scott Drew says this morning, thanks, but no thanks. I'm staying right here. We were trying to go back and forth and try to figure out who was going to have the better end of this situation. John Calipari, still making his money, still getting close to $40 million for the next 5 years to be a head coach. John, that's not a bad deal.
No, I mean, I think we'd all fall into that category. Sounds fun.
I'd sign up for one of those gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, they're sitting here saying, well, Tyson Chicken's the only reason why he's not the head coach of Kentucky anymore. It wasn't us.
It wasn't us. We're still
all the time.
Kentucky. We're still Big Blue Nation. We still have the highest standards. Everybody still wants to be part of our party. And guess what? Nate Oates, or do they? Calipari doesn't. Yeah. Nate Oates doesn't. I don't know if they've got anybody else that they've called that has answered their call yet. They're going through what I think Indiana went through a couple of years ago.
Well, Jay Wright said no. Drew said no.
Who else?
I mean,
Billy Donovan said
I gotta
no.
walk. Donovan, no. Like, there's been a lot of no's now. And Armin, I know you said Shaka was like 10th on the list.
Maybe they're getting down there.
I mean, they're getting that. This is when somebody drops in the draft.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
They just keep dropping.
Just keep sliding down.
Ding. I mean, is
there a medical on this guy?
This is wild. Like, who's going to sign up for this job? The most coveted job in maybe college basketball.
It's a concern until you hear someone else get hired, because you're right. Even if he's 10th on the list, if they're going down to that part of the list, they can start convincing themselves, hey, maybe this is the guy. Someone's going to take that job. I mean, obviously. So it's a concern. It's no different than the Michigan thing was a concern until Dusty May right away said, I'm going, right? So,
I'm gone.
Yeah. So,
see ya.
So, it's just this is
so
the
you're
coaching
going through your
carousel
deep
season.
Breathing exercises. A little worried Shaka could be on the list.
You never know. Coaching carousel. This is it. So
but Kentucky, maybe not the best end of the straw. Calipari seems like an okay situation. Arkansas, holy cow, we get John Calipari.
Love it, right?
And John Calipari's like, I got to talk to the team, and then Razorback fans are saying, hold on, did we get the short end of the straw?
it's just like comedic gold. I mean, then all of a sudden you get Calipari himself, introductory press conference. Here we are, Arkansas. Like, we don't have a team, guys. Just so you know, I may field a team next year, but I'm going to try.
And a little later, he admits, he goes, no, I was not kidding. We got 3 guys, and those 3 guys are in the portal.
Yeah.
That's what we have. There's not a player on the roster right now. So early season coaching is not going to take place. It is portal, recruit. And John Calipari is down there in Arkansas saying, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to make a boatload of money. So let's see if we can't impress some people.
Yes. Well, and how about this? You go to Arkansas basketball, men's basketball, there is one name on that list.
Walk on.
Your boy, Lawson Blake. And hey, we got to have good kids on the squad, right? John participated in the SEC Leadership Council, summer of 2023. We got good kids, right? Named SEC first year academic honor roll.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Program
Guy. Winter honor roll in 22-23. University's chancellor list. My man's got a 4.0 in 2022. Department's champions honor roll of 4.0. Calipari's like, that's the first time I've ever talked about GPA when I'm discussing my roster. Not what I want here at Arkansas.
I mean, this is this kid's chance to really make the team here.
Coach, I'm right here.
As a Walker. This is Armin Sarian, playing manager for the basketball team. And now all of a sudden the whole team disappears or leaves for the draft. And now all of a sudden Armin's got a chance. The little Armin that could. That's what they got down there. But they'll hit the portal hard. Like Calipari said, there'll be guys that entered their name in the draft, won't go where they think, or maybe don't go at all, and then they come back, and he'll be able to put a team together and revamp. And he's always been one of the best to get high school players, so he'll be able to facilitate that whole thing. So who got the best gig out of this whole thing? Well, I think Calipari by far got the greatest deal out of this. Kentucky and Arkansas both got to be sitting there saying, okay, we're just going to wait until we judge this thing, because they have no players at Arkansas yet. But if Calipari makes them right, then Arkansas is going to be a winner. And Kentucky's got to sit back and say, man, this was a mutual agreement here. Maybe our boosters and everybody that treated Calipari so poorly after he lost to Oakland and all the negativity that he couldn't imagine, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, maybe we should have been a little bit happier. Maybe we should have been a little bit better, with losing to North Texas in the first round and Oakland in the first round, something called St. Peter's. It is what it is. It happens.
Sometimes the grass isn't always greener. The funny thing is, the guy that got the standing ovation yesterday, I can't find audio of it, was the Tyson Chicken booster. He got a standing ovation at the
you better believe
press conference. And Arkansas Razorbacks men's basketball official Twitter account, their only tweet to the video of him talking about there's nobody on the roster, we are aware of the situation.
We're aware of the situation. Hey guys, we got it.
So
we
good.
See. Yeah, we print out the roster. We know that there's nothing here. Just company letterhead. Arkansas men's basketball. Coach Cal. I don't even think he's got a staff. That's the best part of it. Who will take that job? We might find out. I said by the time we ended the show today, yesterday, I said by the end of the show today, they will have a new head coach. I did not anticipate Scott Drew telling them to piss off.
I kind of feel like you said that on Monday.
I think I did say that on Monday.
Keep saying it, doubling it up.
By tomorrow at the end of the show, they'll have a new head coach.
This is just doubling your bet every time at blackjack.
That's it. It's Nightingale or Martindale or what's that? It's the betting system. Martingale. That's it.
What's a martingale?
It's the roulette betting strategy where you just keep doubling the bet. Of course, it doesn't work with those pesky little green pieces, but roulette players know what I'm talking about.
Red'll pop up sometime.
All right.
I just got to have a big enough bankroll. Maybe Coach Cal can loan me some of that cash that he just grabbed from John Tyson of Tyson Chicken. Also, Tyson Chicken, maybe the best troll I've ever seen, sent Matt Jones of KSR just a bunch of Tyson Dino nuggets, some Arkansas Razorback hats and shirts. Enjoy. You can cheer on this basketball team next year. 414-799-1973. A fixture of the Green Bay Packers hanging it up. We'll fill you in next 9 to noon on The Game. I love this place, man. I mean, like every single break, you have no idea what at the iHeart Megaplex is going to have you curled over laughing. And that break was unlike any other. I cannot wait to potentially be able to tell you about that during the commercial break podcast.
Well,
that was something else.
They do Full Swing and stuff like that.
Geez.
Why don't they do a documentary about us here at this place?
They might have to.
We should just have a documentary about us.
Yeah, there could be a documentary made about what just transpired during that 4.5 minutes. But more importantly,
good time.
we don't have time for it right now because an absolute icon, an absolute legend, and a fixture of the Green Bay Packers after 43 years in the NFL, 30 with the Green Bay Packers, Red Batty, Gordon Red Batty, retiring from his position with the team. Announcement made today by Executive Vice President, Director of Football Operations, Russ Ball. Batty, again, worked 43 seasons in the NFL, last 30 as the equipment manager for the Packers. Prior to his move to Green Bay, spent 13 seasons in the same position for the then Houston Oilers. Last year, he completed his 50th season in the equipment field, a career that began back in 1974 as a 14-year-old assistant equipment man with the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian Football League. 6 years later, was elevated to equipment manager of the Alouettes. That team then went on to, oh, by the way, win 2 Grey Cups while Red Batty is right there. Coincidence? I don't think so. Icon, legend of the Green Bay Packers, John. Red Batty hanging it on up here today.
Red Batty, credit for a couple Grey Cup championships and 2 Super Bowl championships.
Yeah.
Credit well deserved. I love Red. And this is going to be one that breaks Armin up for a little bit. He's going to have a hard
I'm
time.
saying, man, he's a
He's
legend.
going to have a hard
You don't
time
understand
dealing.
End of an era, man.
And so many of them now, right? Marge left us 2 years ago now.
Marge
Armin?
retired, the head seamstress. Yep.
It's been 2 years now of no Marge. That was an emotional one for me. Red Batty will be an emotional one for me too, because numerous times on the sideline, him just grabbing my helmet and walking off with it so he could fix something that was wrong. And I don't want him to take my helmet when I'm on the sideline. Red, leave my helmet right where
But
it
I
is.
need that.
Several times I went looking for it, and in fact, one time at the Super Bowl, somehow my helmet decal got knocked off. One side, the G.
Yeah.
Got
How
knocked
did that
off.
happen?
I don't know.
So
You
you're
would've thought-
Called
you would've
hard
thought
hits.
you would have thought for the Super Bowl they would have had them on extra good, or
And they seal over the
precisely
top of
detailed.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
blame Red on
but I'm
that.
on the sideline,
Come on,
and,
Red.
and Red's like, "I got to take your helmet." I'm like, "The heck you do?
the Super Bowl.
This is the Super Bowl. You're not taking this helmet.
You're
We
not
had
doing
just-
that.
We had just scored a touchdown. I need your helmet. I need to put a decal on the side. You need a decal on the side of your helmet." I said, "Then you bring the decal here and put it on the helmet." And
Sit
he
right
pulled-
next to me. Do
He
it.
pulled the helmet and I pulled it back, and he pulled the helmet and I pulled it back. And then I said, "Hurry up, take the helmet."
But it's just they're guys like that
Yeah.
that the foundation of an organization.
Fixtures, right? Fixtures.
If you have a good equipment room and you got a good training
Trainers.
room,
Yeah.
I still think that's one of the easiest fast tracks to a good culture in the business. Because John, you can tell. I mean, you see those guys every single day, and they are going to kind of set a little bit of the tenor of what the organization is going to be about for that football team.
Yeah, and and Red did more than just get the ketchup and mustard off your pants after you did a Lambeau
Right.
leap. He was a guy that loved life, loved sports, not just football. Huge hockey fan, huge advocate for our armed forces. I took a couple trips with him, USO trips, to land on an aircraft carrier to go visit Air Force bases. And, I mean, in fact, he's the one who sets up a lot of the pilots that come in to do the flyovers
Really?
at Lambeau Field
That's
as
awesome.
well. So a lot of things that Red Batty did around that place that weren't necessarily a part of the job title, but made him a hell of a person to be around. So he will be missed, Armin. He'll be
Fixture,
missed,
yeah.
Armin.
Yeah, well.
Absolutely missed. And this says another thing about our darn Green Bay Packers. What other team around the league do you see putting out a press release when their seamstress and their equipment manager
That's right.
retire?
That's because we're a family, and that's what makes us different, and that's why we have a big fan base in Brazil. It all goes
That's why I
together.
got Marcos was on yesterday, fired on up.
Very fired up. Love, and let me tell you this also. There was don't remember the game. Gosh, I wish I could remember where there was a helmet issue with one of our linemen. It was either TJ or Josh, or maybe it was Dave Bakhtiari. It was the middle of a playoff game, and it was stuck or something. And Red is on the sideline on TV sprinting over the screwdriver. I'm like, our entire playoff lives depend on Red Batty getting this thing right. But I'm like, I remember thinking this calmness set over me, saying, "There's nobody else I'd rather have right now than Red Batty working on it with this toolbox. Whatever the
Well,
problem with the helmet is."
There are backup helmets, Armin.
Yeah, there
There's
are.
a
Yeah,
backup,
safe.
there are backup helmets. There is a second helmet on every sideline for every player, basically because of what happened to Thurman Thomas, I believe it was in the Super
it's
Bowl.
91
as well.
or
When it
92.
cracked?
He didn't have it. He,
Oh.
he
It was
lost
lost.
it and he didn't start the game. The first
Yeah.
play, he was looking for it and it was gone. Something like that. I'll
No,
I'll
he
find
said
the story.
he said he stuck it under the bench, and when he went back to get it before the series, it was gone.
Yeah,
it was gone.
yeah.
That same guy that took Von Miller's helmet took his off the
Yeah,
sideline.
Maybe. I don't know.
But there's a backup helmet now. But that backup helmet never fits right.
I
You
was
have
going to say
put
that's got to hurt. That's got to be
I've had
so
to put
sore
that on
to
a
put
couple
on.
times. I've had to put the backup helmet on a couple times, and it's like getting a new baseball mitt. Your hand goes
get
in.
it.
It's like, man, this thing is so stiff.
Stiff, yeah.
I can't really feel anything. And you put that backup helmet on because of emergency, and you go back out there. You come back to the sideline. You say, "Red, is my helmet done?" Yes, your helmet's been fixed. Here's
Yes,
your
it
helmet.
is. Here you go, John.
Red Batty,
Let's go
Packers
score some
legend.
touchdowns.
Packers legend. Congrats on a great career. We had the best in the business. The article, I don't remember what it was on. That article about his operation, the way they did the road trips, the way he handled his staff. It was amazing work. Amazing.
That was one of your
operation.
favorite stories of the year.
Really, really
Gotta
good.
be.
So, but we're in good hands, John. You said
Job
Equipment
well
staff?
done, Red.
Equipment staff's in good hands, right?
I don't know who's going to bump up into that position, but Tim O'Day's been waiting in the wings for a shot, for an opportunity.
right.
He's kind of the Jordan Love of equipment.
Yeah.
managers. He's
Mm.
ready.
Let's
He's
do
ready
it.
for that step up.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
And Timmy, if you need an assistant, let me know. Let me know. Also, news coming out here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Their game today in Cincinnati postponed. They'll make up first pitch in a split doubleheader Friday, August 30th. Game one that day will be scheduled for 11:40 cornfield time, Milwaukee time, Central time. They play in the East Coast over there. 5:40 will be the second game. That's the original one. Brewers rained out today in Cincinnati, so they win that series 2 of 3. Hour 3, 9 to noon, always our best one yet. It comes up and leads off with our guy Paul in Grafton, has a Coons can't miss. And more importantly, you guys see the bag that Drew Holiday got broke off yesterday?
Wow.
I thought he was retiring. What happened to that?
I guess he changed.
What
his
happened to that?
mind.
$135 million can tell you I don't want to retire at the end of this contract? We'll get into it. It's 9 to noon on the game. 9 to noon on the game. 414-799-1973. Brewers rained out in Cincinnati. They will pick up their road trip coming up tomorrow. Apple TV game tomorrow in Baltimore. And if you were finding some stuff online, the Baltimore Orioles moved their rotation just around, skipped a day. Corbin Burns going to pitch against the Brewers coming up on Sunday after some rotation manipulation by the Orioles.
Interesting. Oh,
That's just interesting. He wants to go. He wants to face the Moss, Joe Ross. Listen, you want to face Ross right now. Congratulations, Burns. I mean, like, Joe Ross is ready to absolutely decimate that lineup once they get to Camden Yards. Big 41 fan right now.
Was he scheduled to be on the back end, the first game of the next series? Okay. He just, hey, I don't need that extra day off. You know, all that analytics BS of me not being able to pitch deep. I'll come back faster than expected. I'll play. Who are we playing again? Wait.
We got Milwaukee that day, Corbin.
That's, you know what? That's fine. I was
good?
coming back anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I'll do whatever.
Okay, sweet. We can fill you on in. We can throw you in there.
He's going to be so fired up. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to be fired up to pitch against us. We were always his boogeyman for some reason. We didn't give him enough money, or we didn't do something right for him, or we were going to trade him. So of course he's going to be fired up to pitch. You might as well hammer that, strikeout over, whatever it is going to be for him. And he's had a good start.
So you think he's gonna be good against? I think he's
gonna do everything he can to have the best day of his career. I think he's gonna get his Wheaties in the morning. I think he's gonna get his sleep. I think he's gonna throw his arm out to win this game. I think he's gonna try and do that. I think we were always the perceived villain for him for some reason or another.
He was on your watch list at one point in time,
like 5 different times.
And I'm still watching him. And I'll be honest. I'll be mad at this. I'm watching him with that 0.75 whip and that 1.93 ERA. I mean, he's got a great start.
He's still on your watch list.
He's a great pitcher, and he's had a great start to the year for the Orioles, and I'm still watching to see what he does. So,
but you're not on your watch list.
Well, no, he's off. So he's not in the Brewers, so he can't really be on my watch list. The watch list is
Can you explain the watch list?
Kind of seemed like Brewers fans in the first hour were on your watch list.
Yeah, that's fair. Watch list is reserved for what we're doing in our teams and our, I don't have like a bunch of guys around the league on the watch list. Like, I'm curious about how he's going to be doing this year. I'm going to put a little note in my thing to see if he has a nice year. It's more a watch list, like,
it's got a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Really bad.
It's
real negative.
It's our classroom, and now I'm on high alert to see what you're going to do because you've been concerning me a little bit with your actions. And
I'd have been on every teacher's watch list. If that's what it is, and just in our classroom, I would have walked into first day of school.
It would have been the Billy Schmidt watch list. You've been named after you, maybe?
Walk right in.
Yeah.
You're on the list. I know. I get it. I've been on the last 4 years. I understand. Every single teacher learns about it. 414-799-1973. But while we are no longer going to be watching Brewers baseball coming up this afternoon, watching a lot more Masters this afternoon because of some rain. John, I loved being able to hear Chuck Garbedian's breakdown as to how the rain delay to start, as well as the next one that potentially could be rolling in, really affects some of these guys and how they can climb the leaderboard and or just make the cut. Because I do believe most people will watch this event hoping Tiger Woods plays into the weekend. He tees off at 4:00 Eastern now. There's no way he's finishing that round. That's going to be a brutal turnaround for him tomorrow if he's going to make that cut minus 150.
If there's another delay, he won't even make the turn today at Augusta. So can Tiger Woods golf 27 holes in a single day? He struggles to golf 18.
Yeah.
I think this rain delay hurt him, immensely, more so than anybody else. And it's a shame that his tee time wasn't an early tee time today and a late tee time tomorrow, because then it could have worked out perfectly for him. He would have got maximum amount of rest. And now instead, he's got to go back to back and golf 27 tomorrow. And then, as many as they can fit in there here today. And you got to hope for his sake, he gets as many as possible. I saw that they said Tiger Woods shot a 31 on his 9-hole practice round on Monday.
Okay.
So Tiger's got a little buzz, got a little something. And there's a course that if there is a course that Tiger could find magic on again, with his swing, I would say it's Augusta, right? With all the magic that he's had there before, but just the walking, just the pure physical toll that it puts on your body. I don't know how he's going to be able to do it.
That's the thing, right? It's all about the walking. It's all about the golf word undulation, the up and down that he's got to go through. I mean, like that's brutal for anybody his age, let alone rebuild his knee and leg 4 different times. Yeah, it probably makes it even tougher to be able to withstand that for not only just the 27 they might have to do tomorrow. In reality, can he make 72? That's been my doubt for the majority of the time with Tiger. 414-799-1973. Talking about our conversation with Chuck Arbidi in hour number 2. I got Paul and Grafton weighing in on the talk and text line. Paul, thanks for holding on. What do you got, man?
Well, I just have a comment about your expert golf analyst in the previous segment. Very knowledgeable guy, but he said you don't have to be a good putter at the Masters. Well, no, you don't have to drain 15 or 20 footers, but you need to have a real good knowledge of the line and the speed to avoid 3-putting and to make the 5 and 10 footers. So I just want to amend that comment. And the other comment is to have you drop 5 to 10 strokes off your game or your listener's game.
Okay.
If you follow Manuel De La Torre's advice.
Do we have an infomercial?
He said men are full of testosterone when they hit the ball, like a baseball, a racquetball, a tennis ball. They're swinging and hitting. In golf, you merely have to swing the club with consistent tempo. You don't hit the ball. The ball is merely in the arc, in the way of the arc of a club that's swung consistently with tempo. And men have a difficult time doing that because they want to hit the damn ball. So they're in the trees, they're in the water, they're in the sand. If you follow Manuel's advice, just swing the club with consistent tempo. It'll go higher, it'll go farther, it'll go straighter. I was a 6 handicap from the time of 16 to 56. I'm not blowing smoke. It's not about me. I'm trying to drop 5 strokes off your game instantly. And by the way, again, this is not a brag, it's a fact. You can take that swing anywhere. I played St. Andrews, Glen Eagles, Troon and Kernberry and shot 79 or better.
Wow.
Damn. Because if you just swing the club with consistent tempo, you can play anywhere. The club face is square when it hits the ball as when it began the backswing. If you try to hit the damn thing, it's going to be turning left or right. Please try it.
Okay,
Hey,
Paul,
you're passionate about that. I don't think you're selling anything.
I'm going to try
are you?
that. I'm going to try
my
that this
gosh.
year, John.
Hey, Billy, if you want to knock 5 to 10 strokes off your swing, you can either choose to not play the last hole or 2,
Yeah.
or you can choose to swing with consistent tempo on an arc and just let the ball be in the way of your club while you're swinging it. I mean, if you want to play in professional football, I suggest you learn how to bench 300 pounds and run 4.40.
I love that advice.
That's all you have to do.
I never thought about doing that.
That's all you have to do.
I never thought about it before, but now he just said that. I'm going to go, man.
If you want to play baseball,
Yeah.
all you got to do is watch the ball and then hit it.
Watch the ball meet the
Make
bat.
sure you hit
Right.
curveballs.
I never thought of that.
Just watch. All you have to do is watch the ball. You have to watch it on offense and defense, Harmon. You don't
That's
just
fair.
watch it on offense. You got to watch it on defense too. You got to watch that thing go in your glove. You
And-
got to watch the ball.
And stop trying to hit it so hard. All right, you
In-
men
in
out there.
basketball-
That's no fun, though.
Basketball, Harmon, all you have to do is be 6 foot or taller.
And make shots,
And
right?
Preferably preferably
Follow
17.
through on your shot, please.
At the end of the day, this game has always been about buckets. You got to be
Yeah.
able to make shots. If
Paul-
you can score the basketball, you're in.
Paul was very passionate about this golf tips. It's almost like he has a business out there. So I don't think he does.
I was waiting for the
Yeah,
900
but
number
yeah.
for the infomercial to fire
I
on.
was
from
waiting
Paul.
for that. I also was waiting for, just so you know, I played the greatest courses in the world. And I was, man, I want to go on vacation with Paul. That's all I know.
So do I.
Paul from
Actually,
Grafton.
the best part about that conversation is, I know exactly where he was in Scotland when he was golfing those courses, and I want to go over there and I want to golf with him. Hey, he was a 6 handicap from 16 to 63.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is he now? He can't be any more than a 10 right now.
Nice.
No
You
chance.
can. And you can take those strokes off your game. Axon
I'll
Harper
bet you he shot his age before.
I was gonna say shooting the age is the goal, right? Like that. Once you get over the hill, that's where you want to meet yourself at.
Yeah.
Unless I live to be about 112, that's never happened.
No. Then we love Paul. Everybody in the text line, we love Paul from Grafton. Now,
Fired up though. That was more
very.
fired up than we generally get. Paul.
He's usually more calm, literary analysis. Everybody just chill. Let me give you some perspective.
Let me help you out with
Not
this.
today. He's
Add some
dropping kind of
context.
dropping some, some swear, not really swears, but he was saying it, a little bit. And X in Hartford does bring up a good point. I don't know what it would be like to get Paul and Grafton and Ken in the Falls together for a conversation. They'd be out doing each other. They'd be kind of like out, swinging each other. You know what I mean? That would be interesting to see who could try and, pump themselves
Who
up.
could
a
out
little
big
more.
stick the other?
Yeah,
one?
exactly. Something like that. So
Well, listen, there's only one place that those kind of conversations come to fruition. Nooner Day.
Absolutely.
There's really only a couple of places that happens, and Nooner Day is that spot. Lumberjack Pete. Dang, Paul seems fired up. I like Nate in the 262. You guys need to hire Paul as your caddy, and then Lumberjack Pete just follows up. Oh my God, he's swearing. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
He dropped a damn, and I didn't know where we were headed there, John. That was completely off course.
And he's getting madder and madder. I'm like, okay, Paul, we're good.
I think he has taught a person a time or two that struggled with being able to swing with tempo.
I guess.
I mean, it's not easy. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
I would like to remind
Probably
him.
if I stopped drinking on the course, I would probably shave 5 to 10 strokes off my game too, huh?
That would help.
Would that help?
Probably help.
No, that doesn't always help.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Going complete. There's a fine. It's called titration, right?
Okay.
If you said drinking too much on a golf course, I would agree.
Yeah.
If you say completely not drinking at all, I can't condone that. Some people, they get a little nervous, they get a little anxious, so just a little sip on that swing lube that gets them better.
Yeah, I am a little bit better with some aiming fluid. We just got to make sure that I can dial that thing in. 414-799-1973. Dude, these texts are just
They're
fantastic.
funny. They're funny. And we do appreciate everybody on the text line. Brian from Milwaukee. Is that Wolfie? I think it might be.
Yeah.
You have to be able to read putts and hit 5 and 10 foot putts well. Gee, thanks. I think the pros playing at the Masters have that part of their game. It ain't me, Billy, and Josh out there at the Masters slamming beers, rolling cigars, and murdering trees. I think that's a good point. I think and I want to refer to that a little bit. That's what Chuck was getting at. He's not saying you don't have to be a pro level putter. I mean, you just don't have to make that the greatest part of your game sometimes, I think was the point.
You don't have to be the best putter on tour to win the Masters.
Yeah,
you can win if you're one of the more average putters on tour who would still make all of us drool if we were going out and playing fairways of Woodside or we were going to go play the Bull. They'd be like, dude, hey, do you ever miss? This guy ever miss? No. Like, that's basically what people are saying at the kiosks at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino when John Kuhn walks on up for another Kuhn's Can't Miss. Does this guy ever miss?
Disclaimer, I do miss. This is not a risk-free investment.
No Reese Davis style here.
This is not a Reese Davis. I do miss.
You have
this
lost
is not
games.
risk-free. That is my free disclaimer to you. But if you're looking for some action, Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook has that action for you. And you don't even need to go very far from the parking lot. You can walk right through the metal detectors, and there are at least 40 different kiosks right through the metal detectors on the second level skywalk. Walk in, grab yourself a pick, then walk over to Rock and Brews and grab yourself a beer while you watch that pick come to fruition, or make your way downstairs to the temporary sports book. It's very nice, enough seating for about 20 people, and then a bar to just hang out at.
Yeah.
So, you don't even have to feel like you're in a sports book. You can just hang with the guys at the bar and watch games. But that's all temporary because, as we know, May 3rd is when the new sports book actually kicks in. We've been waiting for this with bated breath for months. I'm talking months. Thought it was going to happen for NFL playoffs. We thought it was going to happen for March Madness, but it's happening for the Kentucky Derby. The press release is out, and Dom gave us the big news. May 3rd, Kentucky Derby. Ribbon getting cut. The scissors are down there. Armin, have you figured out the color of the scissors yet?
Haven't figured out the color of the scissors, or if I'm going to be able to be around the ribbon or cutting the ribbon, or if they're
But you will
Making the
ribbon.
first bet.
You will
But,
effort yourself to try and be there. You will actually.
I'd love to be there.
And I heard Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook
Yes.
is actually expecting so many people to be there that it's going to be more like Augusta when they let the ropes down for the patrons.
Wow.
No running to the kiosk. No
No.
running. Speed walking. That's what you're allowed to do.
I love that.
Get and Armin, speed walking is what you do. That
I'm
is in
really
your
good.
game.
Speed walking is what I do. I'm really good at it. I'm just gonna. I could just hang out in the bathroom for a while and wait, and then just hide in the bathroom while it's time, and then just run out right there, that bathroom that's right there. I'm like, oh, I'm the first one. I don't know how I got here in time. Could do that, man. That's an
That
option.
could help.
Yeah, maybe. But we're really excited for it. No doubt about it.
So I suggest you
It's gonna
meet
feel good.
Armin down there, start working on your speed walking, and see if you can be the first bet placed in that new sports book. 2,000 square foot LED screen, seating for over 200 people, and standing room for another 200. So 400 people in this one sports book. That makes it the biggest sports book outside of Vegas. Don't take my word for it. Trust me. Go down there and check it out because it's going to be incredible. Now, we said that I don't miss. I didn't miss last night. I got to put the disclaimer out that there have been some misses, but not last night. Dame over 27.5 with Giannis out was not the high scorer. That was Bobby Portis who came in with a Bobby Portis game, second most efficient game of the season for Bobby Portis. But Dame still got his late cover. 29 points for Dame means the over smashed. That's a W. That's another one in the win column, Armin. We are well above 30 over 500, so we are still feeling good about that. So let's take a chance here today and give people an odds play. Let's give people a power play where you can you like doubling up your money, right?
Ooh, I love it.
Always.
If I can do it.
Do you like tripling up your money?
I mean, of course,
That's
I
my
like
favorite.
I haven't done it, but in a while.
10 times my money is actually my favorite one.
Yeah.
to do.
Okay.
Are we taking a long shot today, John?
Well, what about a simple play to get 4 times your money? I'm talking more than 4 times your money. And there is a really interesting 6-shooter. The cool thing about Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook is you can bet the Masters and you can bet a one-on-one match within 2 people in their group.
Yeah.
You can bet to win their group outright because you know these early rounds they golf in threesomes, so you can bet for a 1 and 3 to increase your odds, or you can bet a 6-shooter, which is 2 back-to-back groups going head-to-head against each other. Well, how about this one? Brian Harman, ever since he started talking to that sports psychologist, he's got his game back, and he has been absolutely on one. He's golfing in a group with Brooks Koepka, with Jason Day, with Max Homa, with Tom Kim, and with Tiger Woods.
Oh,
Now,
boy,
this
what a
one,
group.
this one is not going to finish here today, but if you pick Brian Harman to have the best score out of those 6 players in round one, not day one, round one, as we know, 400 plus 400 is your pick. Just to pick him to have the lowest score in those 6. I like this value pick of Brian Harman, round one plus 400.
All right. So Brian Harman had the best score of his round 1 group. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's in. All right. That's
Koepka,
in.
Day, Harman,
Let's go.
Homa, Kim, and Woods.
That's a lot of guys to beat out. A lot of big names.
Well, 6-pack.
But you know what? Hey, maybe they weren't ready for Brian Harman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to see how this one finishes out.
You seem a little skeptical over there, Armin. I don't know why.
Well, you're talking about some of the great golfers of our time.
It's a value pick.
It's a value pick. No, I support that. That's fine.
Find your way to get a little plus money over at Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook and enjoy the Coons Can't Miss. 414-799-1973. Someone who's enjoying his offseason, maybe a little too much. Rashee Rice, goodness gracious.
Yikes.
Situation getting wild there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Still want to get into this conversation with Drew Holiday, getting himself broke off. But how about Merrill Hodge? Now, his hit rate on quarterbacks, pretty decent. Talking to some folks in Minneapolis about their quarterback situation, Merrill Hodge has one guy to stay away from for quarterback fans and quarterback hungry teams. Who is it? We'll play it for you next, 9 to noon on The Game. 9 to noon on the game. News of the day. Masters delayed about 3 hours. Scott Drew staying at Baylor. Shaka Smart potentially getting reached out to by the University of Kentucky. Armin Sarian not having heart palpitations quite yet, John, like he was day 2 of the tournament, I should say, when we were at Rock and Brews, and he thought Shaka Smart was departing to Michigan, and we had to, hold him back from falling off the stage for the entire day.
Also, O.J. Simpson passes away, loses his battle with cancer, and all you need to shave 10 to 15 strokes off your score is a smooth golf swing.
That's right. There you
Stop
go.
trying to kill the ball.
We learned a lot.
Stop trying to kill
You
it.
don't even need to be a good putter to win the Masters.
No.
We've learned a lot today.
Halfway.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, like not like then and now though with the Michigan thing. Really, there was no official source that even said that he was being reached out to. One guy on Twitter said he's being reached out to, just like during the Michigan. It's a lot of nothing so far, but you have to think he might be on the list somewhere.
Thanks for keeping us on the rails there.
Yeah,
Earl.
Listen,
good work.
Just put yourself in that situation. You're going to prom. Now you might have a list of people you want to ask, and you go, you're going for the dream, and if you keep saying, no, the list is going down.
Speaking from experience on this one?
Not me.
Kind of
Not
sounds
me.
like it.
No, not
Sounds
me.
like somebody was taking a lot of swings come prom night.
Did you
They
not
asked-
ask? You got asked?
They asked me to go to prom, John. I was turning them
Oh.
down to go to prom. That's just kind of a joke. But I did go to prom twice. I was the prom king one year. I'm just making a point. It's not about me at all. I'm making a point
Kind of
that
sounds
if
like
you're going to start looking
Hold
for that.
on here.
All right, fine. Forget the
Hold
prom
on
thing.
here.
You're-
We're not forgetting the prom king.
You're parking the car.
No,
You're
we're not forgetting the prom king. You got asked to prom?
Yes, like by a few girls, 4 or 5. I
so
don't
you
know.
had to tell girls no. You had to bat them away. You had to knock off at the knees some of these females. And how did they ask you? Were any really good promposals?
I was going to
thrown your
say
way?
that's part of
Did
the
they
fun.
come
They
to
didn't
your
do that
front
back
yard
then.
and did they do a TikTok in your
What?
front
Nope.
yard to get you to go to prom?
This is pre-social media. Promposals were not a thing. You just caught up somebody in the hallway, or you asked through sources, back channels, agents. Like, is so and so?
What is this, an NIL deal?
That's what
They
it
didn't
was.
ask you face to face.
This was
Was
the
there
real-
a
A prom
old,
collective you had to go through.
This
to
was
see
the
if you
real
a
could
deal.
get it.
brown lunch bag of money to
Dude.
earn Armin's yes?
Well, no, I didn't take any favors or gifts, but this was
Prom.
the
Oh,
this was
okay.
the
We didn't
reality.
know about that part of prom, but okay.
Anybody my age knows that's the reality of prom. Was you just had to ask through back channels. If you liked a girl, you asked her friend who she want to go to prom with. You think she would say yes if I asked? That's how that stuff always works.
So you didn't actually get asked. You had friends come to you and say, "What do you think about so and so?" And you said, "No."
Cindy
What
really
do you
wants
think
to go
about
to prom
so and
with
so?
you.
And you said, "No." What do
There
you
were-
think about so and so? And you said, "No." When did you finally get the? Hey, so
there were overtures.
so
There were
Stacy,
overtures.
Stacy Keebler's over here, and she wants to go to
Stacy
prom
Keebler.
with you. Would you be interested? Oh, yeah, I'm Armin. I'm a leg guy.
I'm
Hey,
here,
just-
yeah.
My
let's throw this
junior
down.
year, getting voted for king, by the way. So this is my junior year. A
Well,
nice,
you were clearly in the
a
running
nice
because
young
somebody
lady,
wanted you.
a nice young lady, and I had a mutual kind of agreement. We would go to prom. It wasn't really one asked the other. We kind of like, oh yeah, we should go. That was
So
kind
you
of how
weren't
that
dating?
was.
No,
My
tell me the
senior-
truth. Was this
Thank
a
you.
truth?
was this
honestly.
a promise in 10th grade that you guys both said it's kind of like, hey,
It wasn't one of those
if
deals.
you don't get
No.
married by 40 and I don't get married by 40, can we make a pact that we get married? This was prom, so this was 10th grade. You said,
Yes.
hey, next year for prom it's going to be fire, and she said, yeah, it's going to be
That's
lit. And
awesome.
then you said, I'm just worried
I'm
about
so
getting
happy.
asked, and she says,
No,
well,
it
let's make a pact that we will go with each other.
Yeah,
it
we're gonna
wasn't,
go together.
It wasn't one of those deals, but I will say there were a couple of overtures ahead of that I hate to say wasn't interested in. I didn't want to be mean about it, but I just said something like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet.
So you
for
didn't
prom.
have the gall,
I didn't have the,
better way to put it,
I didn't have the
to
stones.
tell them yourself.
I think I told friends of
Yeah,
them.
you told their friends to tell her.
Well, they didn't straight up ask me either.
How do you
That-
think that conversation went when she went home?
I don't know. And I'm frankly, I can't be responsible
You
for that.
didn't you didn't want to go and break the heart yourself?
Now I will say
Let somebody else do it? Coward.
it is what. Now I'll say this: my senior year, I thought I was the man because I had just been voted prom king my junior year. So I'm like, I'm going to level up. So I was like, I'm going to wait it out. Like I think I'm Kentucky at that point. And lo and behold, all these girls I thought I was going to like get interest from, they're already going with other dudes. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm a
because the
defending-
other guys asked them.
Yeah.
I'm the defending.
Am I the
prom king.
only? Am I the only one wondering this, John? We've been talking about this for the last 5.5 minutes, and
I
the
wanna
elephant in the
know-
room has been. Don't
What?
the guys ask the girl to
Yeah,
prom?
I
Is
did
it
ask her.
Is
I
it
did ask.
customary Armenian tradition that you just get asked? You don't ever ask?
When you're in the recruiting business, you're looking to see is there interest there.
This is
People are
wild.
telling you. But I did eventually my date senior year prom. I asked her in English class and we went. So it's not that I didn't ask anybody. I did eventually ask. I just thought it was going to be a lot different. I thought the recruiting game. I thought all of a
You
sudden,
entered the transfer portal thinking that there was going to be all these offers, all these 6-figure offers, John.
you go to
Armin
one-
thought, hey, man,
Yeah.
I put up 10 a game last
Was
year.
it different? Was it different than the junior year girl?
different girl, yeah, different girl. And I
What-
thought
did-
after the
did
championships,
did the junior year girl graduate or did she level up?
good question.
great
I honestly don't remember. I think she.
You
had
know
gotten a
exactly who
boyfriend.
she
Who
was.
was-
And you know
who
exactly
was-
who she went with.
I don't
Who
remember
was the
seeing her.
junior-
I honestly
Who
don't.
was
I
the
know
junior
she-
year girl that you said?
I'm not
yes
gonna.
to?
I'm not putting them. I'm not putting these names out on this air. I'm not gonna do
Why?
that. Nah, sorry.
She's not listening.
Ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And if it was a name, it'd be a fake one. I'm not doing that. You never know who's listening.
So did you level up?
I thought so, but I had a better time junior year. I thought in my head at the time I did.
Grass wasn't always greener.
Yeah, you never know, but it wasn't. Both were. It was a good time both
See,
times.
it's
I
about
was
what's
a
on the
perfect
inside.
gentleman.
That's what it tells you. It's what's on the inside.
It's absolutely true, John. I totally believe that. That was an important lesson to learn always. But my
So you did learn that lesson. So you
Sure.
confirm that was the lesson that's learned. Is it don't take a picture or don't take a look at the pictures on the cover. You
yeah,
read
all
the book
that
first.
all that glitters is not gold.
Okay.
So there
So
you go.
was prom Sadie Hawkins for you guys, where the
Nah,
girls
nah.
asked the guys?
No,
It's a Sadie
no.
Hawkins prom.
No, it wasn't. I
Right?
just
Like,
it just
that
so
used to be the
happened-
winter dance for us.
Are you
Was that
the
same for
only
you guys?
man? Is Armin the only man ever to get asked to prom?
No, girls were always trying to be like, so and so
Always.
wants to go with you to prom, Armin. What do you think about it? Like that was what was happening, right? You don't think that was happening? That was never happening. That you
My
were-
man said girls were always just asking, like, would you want to go to prom with Cindy? Would you want to go to prom with Laura?
Listen, I was a safe pick, okay? I was the Bryce Drew for a lot of these girls, right? They're like, oh, Armin's a nice guy.
Stephen
you know?
Point texter. Armin, did you ask your wife to marry you, or did she ask you to get married?
I'll ask okay, that's funny. Ha ha ha. Good
I'm
one.
just asking. This conversation just lends itself
It's
to
on
the part of
Twitter.
the
It's my pinned
conversation.
tweet. I have proof I asked her.
But did you was Laura putting out fillers? Was she letting you know she was ready? The time is
Good
now.
call.
I mean, because that just
Wow,
because you
good
popped the question because of formality doesn't mean that Laura wasn't on the back channels telling her friends to tell you, hey Armin, Laura's ready to get ready. Will you marry her? Would you marry her? And Armin's like, okay, yeah, I guess I am.
At that point, we're talking about being engaged in a marriage. So obviously, as adults, you grow up and you have those conversations.
Okay, so you did talk to a
We
friend
had
before your
conversations.
marriage.
I didn't talk to her like her mom or sister, if that's what you
I'm not
mean.
gonna lie.
Well,
Lindsay
I
told me
did talk to the parents, but like,
Lindsay
you know.
told me in not so many words, poop or get off the pot, right?
Really?
I mean,
Really?
oh yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't.
No.
We didn't have that conversation. It was sort of like we're on the same page and we're talking about timelines and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that.
I
So-
saw 2 lines on a stick, and I was like, well, I guess we're having some fun here. We might as well go. We just skipped a step.
It's
We're
a lot
gonna
of-
get back in, and it's gonna be even better than that.
It's a lot easier, of a situation.
Don't know that I would say that.
Well,
I don't know that I would say
okay,
that.
Okay, I said that wrong. I said that. You're absolutely right. William,
It's a much easier situation than getting asked by all the friends
let
if
me
you would
rephrase.
marry
Let me
your
rephrase
person that
that.
you're dating.
William, you're absolutely right. Let me rephrase what I was saying, Billy. That I'm not saying
Conversation was
I'm not
awkward.
saying it was easier. I'm
Sure.
just saying you already knew by that time. I said it wrong. I said
This
it wrong.
might be my favorite segment we have
It's a
done
it's a good segment. It's a
in
good
the 10
segment.
months that this show's been on, that I've been on with you guys. That's
really,
awesome.
I really thought after I was
Look at
prom
Don
king,
Juan Julio Sarian over here. Holy cow.
I had my share of moments, you guys. All right, I had my share of moments. All right, I'm
Mailman
just gonna
Jeff.
say.
And just like that, Armin lost a few listeners in 97.3 The Game because those ladies just turned out way back when that he turned down. Still listening now. Found out that they're a bit on the show.
I doubt that they're sitting there listening. I mean, you never know. Maybe they're out
Oh
there.
my God.
Maybe the Greenfield High
If you
class of
if you
02.
are one that Armin turned down
Text
back
in.
in junior year, 414-799-1973,
Yeah,
please.
text in.
Please.
We would love to hear
Please.
how he let you down. Did he let you down softly?
Mm-hmm.
Did he just give you a straight up no? I mean, was there a lot of filibustering going in of him trying to reason with you?
I got a lot of stuff going on. I don't even know if I can go. My mom, she didn't even know that I could go, and I can't ride in a limo, right? I get scared. I'm claustrophobic, so I just don't know that it's best. You know what? Johnny Logan. Johnny was wondering if you wanted to go with him. Just pass him off, pass her off to someone else.
Oh, that was the other thing too. Every girl wanted Johnny, so they would always get to me, talk to me about Johnny.
Awesome.
That was a reality too. Johnny, man, wow, man, miss Johnny. I hope he's doing good.
Casey in Germantown. Armin is the bleeping man. In high school, you were the man, homie. Come on now, celebrate a little bit. Look at
hey.
I didn't even know Armin could blush as hard as he is right now on the YouTube and X stream.
No, you know what? Because your Armin impression is better than Josh's. Actually, that's funny. That made me laugh.
Prom king.
You knew I was prom king.
Is that on your Wiki? Have you put that on your Wikipedia page yet?
Another great question, John. A1.
Didn't put it on my Wikipedia page or my resume or anything like that.
Well, I can do that because it's absolutely free. Armin Sarian.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Should I put that in my Twitter profile?
Yes.
I'm
Twitter
stunned
bio?
it's not.
I am astonished you don't have that on there. I'm also astonished that I haven't read your profile either to know that it's not on there.
I'm also a little bit disappointed that you still haven't changed your LinkedIn page from producer on the Big 920 to 97.3 The Game.
I haven't been on LinkedIn for years.
Can you update your socials?
All right, I'll update my LinkedIn. That part is wrong.
You look like a banker in this picture. That's awesome. Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's a really
bankers get chicks. That's what Armin does.
Apparently. What a trip!
I got my dad texting me. I missed this latest discussion about prom. What was the deal with that?
Matt Jr. Armin is the man. Legend. Wait for it. Dairy. That was a legendary run right there by our guy Armin. Sorry,
Right,
let's
edit the profile. 2001 Greenfield High School prom king. There you go.
That's Armin Sarian, prom king of the station. Number one in your program, number one in your hearts. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt hanging out with you. It's 9 to noon on The Game. He's the man. He's the man. He's the man. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Sorry in. Wow,
that was great.
That was
Dude.
really good, guys.
I just had way too much fun in that segment.
I enjoyed it
My
too.
stomach has not hurt from laughing so hard in a long time. Armin, thank you very much for
Hey,
that.
you know what? I'll be honest with you. I love talking about the glory days.
Sounds like it was glory days. You putting ladies on a watch list, as Lumberjack Pete said, for prom?
the watch list. That's where it started. Man, I felt like the man when I rolled up to Desmond's in the Southridge Mall to get my tuxedo fitted. Yeah, you guys remember Desmond's and Genghis out there? That's where you got tuxedos back then.
And Armin, the best part is at least you have good memories. Unnamed in the 608 says,
Okay.
I was an expert at fumbling the snap when it came to prom. I'm still trying to recover that loose ball to this day.
Yeah. Well, you guys, the problem is you all set your sights too high. You're trying to spike, plus 700 long shots.
Yeah.
You get that minus 300, you get a win, and you have a nice time. And if they know your intentions are pure, then you're good.
Hayden
one
in the
feels
920 says, I never knew Toby Keith's song, How Do You Like Me Now, was about Armin.
Yeah, it was
and Toby Keith also had a song, I Ain't As Good As I Once Was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. So Armin's still living that to this day.
That's going to be added to the Twitter bio, I think, for Armin right after this. KC in Germantown. I love Armin's humble brag about being prom king. Guy's the absolute man. I love it when old people talk about the good old days.
Old people.
Armin's not even going to be offended that he got called old
He
right
loves
there.
it.
Well,
He actually likes being called.
Well, I don't like getting older, but the reality is I am getting older, and maybe I'm an old guy now. Toby Keith. I never thought about this song. Your number on a 50.
Y'all lie.
But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like people were like not talking to me or something like that. It wasn't. It was a great time. I mean,
You had fun in high school?
Yeah, I mean, I knew everybody. I liked high
I mean,
school.
who can honestly
Awesome.
say they were the libero that barely got into the game and the manager of the basketball team and still pulled
I know,
all
right?
the
I know.
females for prom?
Yeah,
Thank you.
usually the prom king
One
was
of one.
was the
I mean,
captain.
one of one.
one.
I mean, those Venn diagrams don't even overlap each other.
No,
I don't
yeah.
know how he pulled this
One
off.
of one, baby. Let's go.
Those circles are on different levels of the high school. And Armin just said, let me grab that bad boy right down here. He grabbed that brass ring, John. He wasn't taking no for an answer.
That's right.
Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I like Red Hot Tim Knott. Armin had all these ladies in his AIM chat like,
Oh yes, AIM
Prom?
was everything. You want to talk about Instagram DMs and Tinder and whatever, the Bumbles and Hinges? AIM chat was everything. You got her number or you got her screen name, and you were
screen
good to
name
go.
was the easier way.
That was right. That's like can I get your Instagram and I'll
Yeah,
follow you?
yeah.
That's what it is.
The
now.
other part about AIM, especially, now the younger olds, that would be me, right? Like,
that's you as a younger old.
I'm a younger old because I do
Yeah.
still I was still in the AIM era. I believe AIM is the first place that I ever got a girlfriend and also the first place I ever got broken up with in middle
happens.
school. So
Yeah.
I mean that's a winner right there, Billy Icebox 74. But
Ooh, I like that. The icebox.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, you had to find some different ways that out.
And
You had to see
74
what was happening.
That was
Armin,
your
what
football
was-
number.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Armin, what was your aim?
It was an Armenian thing. It was High Moog 12, which is like an Armenian like thing.
Well, it's a conversation
yeah,
starter for the
that's
least.
good.
Mine was
Yes.
simple. AIM got popular when I was in college, believe it
Huge.
or not. So I'm an old, and
What was
so
your screen
mine
name?
was RB for ship, same as my Peloton name.
That's
RB4
easy.
ship.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's nice. It tells you everything you need to know. If someone needs to know,
Yeah, but it's not a conversation starter. At least you get to have conversation. Mine is just RB for ship. Yeah, he's not too creative, is he? I mean, that's exactly what he is.
I like that. And you were RB. Well, you weren't an FB yet. You were an RB in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still running right through Tim in Greenfield. Class of 08 here from Greenfield.
Does Tim know me, or did I know his brother? Maybe.
I don't know, but he said we voted a brother and sister who are twins as prom king and queen. Now, Tim, you check yourself, all right? Are you trying to negate the popularity that my man Armin Sarian was boasting
Oh, yeah.
there in
Don't-
2002?
Don't devalue the award. Is that what you're
well,
saying?
it sounds like he's trying to devalue the award. This is not a participation trophy right here. Freaking prom king of the Greenfield Hustlin' Hawks.
Mm,
There
that's
can only
absolutely
be
right.
one.
They can only
One
be
of one.
Yes.
The libero, as John said, who was, scrapping, biting kneecaps, some would say, to try to find his way on into the game, still finding your way into your hearts in the
I
top
don't
of that
know.
court.
We could search the entire country and not be able to find.
I'd be stunned.
Not be able to find a bingo card that says libero,
Go off, baby.
basketball team manager,
Tell him.
asked to prom,
Yeah.
and prom king,
Yeah.
all in a straight line. You're not
That's
going
a
to
good
find that anywhere
diagram.
else.
Hey, that's one unique resume, no doubt about it. And I was in the chorus. I was in the
Let
choir.
him know.
So that's another one right there. That's another one. So I had a big time resume, big time.
Chorus,
you really
choir,
were big
or
Tampa.
select.
JV most improved tennis on the tennis team.
I thought you were about to say JV chorus.
No, I wasn't on JV chorus. What was that, John? Did you say select?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Select.
we had advanced choral ensemble. I think I was the advanced, whatever.
See, I told you.
Mm,
I said this when we
okay.
first started working together. Best voice in radio right there. I'm sorry.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I did sing the bass back then. I don't know if I was the best. I was one of the only guys in there. So
Were you kind of singing out of a kazoo like I thought you were when I first
That's-
heard you on the radio?
You did think that, yeah. My voice changed more, I think, after my freshman year. That's when my voice really changed. I remember that because.
So you
have
used to have
to
a high
admit that
voice.
to the world.
Well, I don't care.
That's it.
No, I don't care. Whatever. No, I just remember.
Puberty happens to us at all different ages.
That's when I started. I was like 5'1".
I'm still waiting for it.
as a a high school freshman. I was like 5'1", and by the end of the year, I think I was like 5'7". I think that's yeah.
Hey,
But
well,
the
no
thi-
wonder ladies were trying to slide up into those AIM messages.
Hey, they were trying to, and let me tell you something. The
Slide into that
And I
inbox,
bet
baby.
that beard was there before freshman year, wasn't it?
6th grade.
Poking through.
first time I shaved, I was 13 or 14.
Are you?
I'm serious. The mustache. I'm not even kidding you. I started
so
growing the
jealous.
mustache. It wasn't like a full beard though. Yet it wasn't like that situation.
I'm
but-
so jealous. Both of you guys in 5 days could have a perfect beard. I still can't get this damn thing to connect right here. My man said I'm fumbling the snap. I'm still trying to find these two footballs right here to connect the chin strap. I'm proud of you guys.
Hang in there. Greg and Franklin, please, nerd boy, go on vacation. Hey, don't worry. I've got a couple days off, actually, in a couple weeks, so you don't have to hear me.
That's our takeaway of the day. Brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Don't cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. You might even find.
You know where we went to dinner before the dance?
Quick Trip.
Oh, that would have been a lot. No, I didn't. I don't know if it was around yet.
Palermo's Pizza.
That's Amore on Highway 100. Let's go.
Damn right.
Let's go.
Joey
And-
was feeding it up. He knew it was up.
And one year for a homecoming, it was prime quarter, and your boy was nervous because I did not know how to cook a steak, and I didn't know that was part of the deal. I didn't know.
That is just too good. I don't know how we're going to get better tomorrow because that close of the show, John, I don't know, can be beat. Somehow tomorrow, starting up at 9, we're going to beat it, but it's going to take our absolute best on a Friday to top what we just did here for the last 3 hours.
Yeah, and I think we all need to thank Armin for that. Thank you
Hey,
very much.
No
Armin.
problem.
Thank
Hey,
you, Armin.
The glory days were fun to go down memory lane, you guys. Let me tell you.
For Armin
Yeah.
Sarian, the prom king, number 1 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, wearing the different libero jersey. For John Kuhn, I'm Billy Schmidt. We'll hand it off to Mike Keller, and we'll try to be better tomorrow. It's 9 to noon on the game.